What's good, Relocation Football League fans? It's your boy Smitty. Oh, I got the thing on repeat. But anyway, it's your boy Smitty here with the podcast. After 7 long weeks, man, I've finally been able to find some time to get this done. But camera-wise, I only have me on, but I also have a guy joining us who you guys already know. He's pretty much the guru of the playoff scenario stuff, which we're about to get into heavy, and that is Coach Forbes, man. Welcome to the podcast. We're looking to trying to make him a regular once we get this thing going back consistently. But how you feeling, Forbes? And I guess quick thoughts on, I guess a quick summary of the season so far.
Wild, But thanks for having me on. I'm glad to be back. Glad the podcast is back, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, almost 2 months. That's great. I counted back. I said, it was week 11 since we had our last one. And of course, things are still going to be a little up in the air with me being in school, but I'm definitely going to try my best to have it every single week from here on out for at least the rest of the season. If anything changes with that, of course, I'll make that known and, put that out there on social media or in the Discord. So without further ado, man, I guess the main thing we can get into is let's look at the season so far, right? And we're not going to recap. We'll recap a little bit of what happened last week, but usually what we do, like on podcasts, we'll recap the entire week that just passed and then go into mostly everything. And usually that takes up about an hour, but we're not going to do that. It's been so much going on that we'll just jump into just looking at Neon Sports, which I think I got loaded up. Let me make sure. Yeah. So I should have it loaded up here. And then here we go. Let me take the thumbnail off. Actually, I might just big this up, man, because this should be probably a full screen thing at this point because things are a little bit little. But let's make it let's see if I can make a duplicate.
And for the Neon, you might just want to go to that homepage, or it's just a screenshot.
Yeah, this is the website.
You might as well just go to the home and show the. Oh no, you have the playoff thing somewhere else. That's right.
Yeah. So I guess we could get into that. Okay, let's show the current, and I did not place this, so we can show this right now. Let's show what the current playoffs is looking like right now. So I'm about to load the image up. Again, sorry, my PC's still running through its issues. Just really haven't had the time to really fix that like I want to. Here we go. A look at the playoff bracket, our own custom version of it. This is what the playoffs look like after a wild week 17. Right now, the number 1 seeded teams in each conference in the ARC, you have the Armadillos still and the Snowhawks. So those are the 2 teams right now with a bye. And this is what the playoffs is looking like at the moment. What I will say is, since we already have this shown up, what we can do real quick is just play a quick game of if the playoffs were to start today, who goes to the Reload Bowl, who wins the championship. So just for a quick game to start us out, a little breaker back into the fun of things. Let's start with the ARC, right? So right now they got a rematch between the Red Dragons and the Aviators. Both those teams beat each other pretty bad, but the last time, which was just this past week, the Red Dragons dominated the Aviators 45-7. Do you see them doing that again and advancing on to the next round, Forbes?
I don't see another 45-7 butt whooping again. But after what we saw, after seeing an 8-game win streak, I look at the Aviators, who are 2-3 in their last 5. There's no reason to pick against the Red Dragons right now. So I'd have to have them winning this matchup.
Yeah, red hot Red Dragons moving on with that victory. I'd agree as well. The next game in the ARC would be the 3 and the 6 seed going at it. And here goes another division rivalry matchup where the Bulls in the regular season got swept by the Black Knights. Was the first team to beat the Bulls. Devin Wade is in the running for MVP, could possibly even win it. Same deal with Geno Gannon. One of these guys might be MVP going into this game. Who gets it done? Bulls or the Black Knights? The Bulls have the home field advantage, though.
I say this a lot when this comes up. It's really hard to beat the same team 3 times in one season. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen very often, and I'm gonna stick with that trend. I'd have Devin Wade and the Bulls beating Gino getting the Black. As good as Gino is, the Black Knights team around him
Yeah.
isn't there yet. So I'd have to say the Bulls.
Yeah, and I think they are missing two of their key wide receivers too. Uh, in that game when they play, they won't have Ayush Patel who will be out unless they win. And Frederick Irving. So those are two big missing pieces for Geno Gannon to throw to. He'll really have to be Superman, put on that cape, and come out with the win there. I do agree with you as well. Being a team 3 times, almost pretty much impossible. Is it possible? Yeah, but I don't see that really happening, especially with a good team, two good teams going at it. So I'm going with the Bulls as well. The Pioneers still in the playoffs despite their loss. There's a chance these guys might not even make it, despite everything that's been looking good for them. But we'll get into all of that. But their first game in the playoffs, as of right now, will be against the Celtic Tigers, who has been red hot. I think they've won their last 5 games. Um,
Yep.
They'll be on the road in Pittsburgh. Who do you got advancing?
It's a great story for the Pioneers. If they can somehow stay in, win the division, get their first playoff appearance, they're just not the same as the other 6 teams in here. They're just not. Celtic Tigers are a better team. I'm taking them.
All right, so in that case, we agree on all of these matchups. So that would mean the Red Dragons at 2 will be in the whole other bracket at the bottom. The
Would be
Bulls,
Armadillos, Celtic Tigers, Bulls, Red Dragons.
yeah, the Armadillos, Celtic Tigers, Bulls, Red Dragons will be a good game. Who you got in that matchup? I think my
I'd take
computer.
the Celtic Tigers over the Armadillos. I still think the Armadillos are a couple pieces away.
Okay, so CT. I'm gonna be honest. I think the Armadillos had a great season. Have had a great season so far. They've taken down some pretty good teams, and we didn't expect them to. Of course, started out beating the Steamers in OT, and a couple other big games as well. But I still don't feel like they've played crazy talent this year, like they're going to face, in my opinion, in the playoffs. Even though they would have to win 2 games to get to the Reload Bowl, those 2 games I think are going to be tough. And so I do agree. I think that CT does knock them out in the first round if they get there. Red Dragons and Bulls. Who you going with?
I think that's the first kind of toss up matchup we've had so far. I felt very confident on every other matchup. I think for this, I'd ride the hot
Yeah.
hand and I'd take Savoy in the conference championship.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think the Red Dragons and the Celtic Tigers in a conference championship game with this current bracket makes sense. So we're on the same page still. Who will represent the ARC in your opinion?
This is a 50-50 to me. If you could tell me either team, tell me your reason, I couldn't tell you were wrong. For me, for right now, I the last couple weeks and so, I'm probably leaning towards Savoy and the Red Dragons. But if you tell me CT, I couldn't tell you were wrong.
Yeah. If I had to choose, I think it's going to come down to the quarterbacks, right? And that's tough because, man,
So you're picking
that's pretty.
between who's
Yeah.
second MVP and who's fifth?
Yeah. So I would probably because Justin Jones, he's still a dual threat as well. But I think that, of course, Savoy is more of a dual threat. He's showing his accuracy now really well. Like you said, that's really hard to choose. But I would have to go with maybe the higher seed. And if the Red Dragons are rolling that hot, I'm probably going to take the Red Dragons to represent the ARC.
So we have the same ARC.
Yeah. All right, NRC. I'll just I guess choose for you. I know you don't want to. You're going to pick your team, but the Desperados and the Shamrocks right now. The Explorers have been knocked out for the first time in franchise history. There has not been a postseason the Explorers have not gone to, and this might be it for the last team that even has that on their record. But the Shamrocks, they've been losing as of late. They keep that seventh seed. They play a team that might be in the first seed after this week in the Desperados. Who you got?
There's not much to talk about. The Desperados are just a better team. You got to take them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that as well. The Diablos game, I know you're gonna choose your team, and I'm gonna choose your team as well. Even though we just seen a preview of this game this past week, I just feel like that was a really close game. Are gonna be on the road. Uh, I do feel that next time around, you guys might be able to get it done and knock off the great rookie we've seen in Jordan Granger. And then the Steamers and the Condors, which is going to be back to back. If this matchup stays, this will be the same exact game that we're going to see last game of the week, except the Condors will be resting their starters. So the Steamers are going to be playing up against the backups and then the starters with their first team. Who you got with Chase McCoy in the fold?
Well, seeing how Reed Wagner's kind of righted the ship the last 2 or 3 weeks. Um, Came out killing the Monarchs and the Shamrocks last week. And the Condors. I kind of feel the Condors are the same as how we talked with the Armadillos last week. I look at the Condors and they beat the Desperados back in week 8. But other than that, haven't really played a lot of top tier talent. So I think I'd probably go with the Steamers if Reed Wagner keeps the hot hand.
Okay. So that would make it the Desperados taking on the
Diablos.
Diablos and the Steamers
Do you
and
have the Steamers too?
Snowhawks. Yeah, I chose this. I'll take the
Well, then
Steamers.
it would be the Snowhawks, Diablos, Steamers, Desperados.
Snowhawks, Diablos. Okay, yeah, Snowhawks, Diablos, Steamers, Desperados. Um, who you taking in that? Well, in the Desperados and Steamers game.
I think it's the same thing that happens every year with the Desperados. They're really, really, really good until they get to the postseason.
Mhm.
Obviously, they have a different quarterback now, but I think Marquise Washington is in a similar situation as Geno Gannon, where he's really good. Tavian Hall is really good. They have a sound team, but the team like overall isn't quite as good as the other teams that have been built up already. Like they're still trying to get there as a team overall. So I'd probably take the Steamers
Gotcha.
to beat the Desperados in the second round.
Yeah, same here. And then, of course, you probably have it different here between the Snowhawks and Diablos. I would take the Snowhawks in that matchup. They just have been the more of that consistent team. Um, Currently the number one team in the conference, also. So I think my conference championship game will be the Steamers and the Snowhawks. And let's just go on with mine because I know you're going to win the Reload Bowl with your team. So if it was the Steamers and Snowhawks in the conference championship, who goes and represents the NRC?
I think the Snowhawks. We've seen throughout this Madden that Reed Wagner has been inconsistent.
Mhm.
He's fixed it of late. I don't know how long that's gonna stay consistent, but Mr. G, as we call him, has killed it this season. He's doing what he's supposed to. The Snowhawks are supposed to be one of the top teams, so I'd probably have a Snowhawk Red Dragon Reload Bowl.
Yeah, same, definitely. That would be a great Reload Bowl. And if you had to choose between that, who wins Reload Bowl 9?
The Red Dragons. I ain't picking any team in my conference.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Snowhawks in that one, man. I think the Snowhawks, if they get to that point, and they're consistently getting it done, uh, as great as the Red Dragons have been, I think the Snowhawks just have the better team around them, and so I'm gonna go with Joey G and those guys with the way they've turned things around. So that's our early predictions for if the playoffs were to start right now. So nice little fun thing to get into before we start diving into some things. So right now is a look at the current draft picks for the RFL, like in terms of the order. If the draft was to start right now, the first overall draft pick, which has been officially clinched, will be the Chicago Cougars with a 2-14 record right now. Then you got the Bisons, Barons, Tigers, Elks, Sentinels, Crusaders, Gunners, Monarchs, Voyagers, Marshals, Thunderbirds, Bulldogs, Dreadnoughts, Huskies, Explorers, Steamers, Shamrocks, keep rolling, Hogs, Pioneers, Miners, Diablos, Lumberjacks, Black Knights, Aviators, Bulls, Condors, Celtic Tigers, Red Dragons, Desperados, Snowhawks, and Armadillos. So this is how the current draft picks are looking right now in the league.
What
Um,
everyone thought. The Cougars at
yeah,
1 and the Armadillos at 32.
yeah, yeah, I know, right? This is crazy to look at, man. Like that, even that playoff picture that I showed, just really did not look anything like how we've seen in the past. But speaking of that,
Missing
man, let's get
missing a
into some
lot of
yeah, let's get into some scenarios. You talk about going to the homepage. Let's go to the homepage real fast. Like you said, um, we still got this post up here. Tor is the only one utilizing this, man. Shout out to Tor. But yeah, we saw what the playoffs was looking like. Here's a look at the playoff race. Who's on the outside looking in for the ARC? We have the Miners, the Hogs, and the Bulldogs, which
Bulldogs are eliminated. Only
they're
the Miners and
eliminated. So it's really right now, these are the teams that can compete with these teams. So let's just go with the guys who are currently on the outskirts who have a chance. So what will it take for the Miners and the Hogs to get in the playoffs? And who
So
would they
both of them are
eliminate?
basically one path teams. The Hogs need to win. The Pioneers need to lose. That's how the Hogs get in.
Simple as that. Pioneers need to win. Pioneers need to win. Like he said, if they win their division for the first time in franchise history. Not only do they win their division for the first time in franchise history, of course, that means they're going to the playoffs. It's never been done. They've already had. I don't think they've ever had a winning season.
That's for the Pioneers.
Yeah, and that's for the Pioneers. So it's crazy. They could have won this division literally last week, but literally lost by a point, folding to the Tigers 20 to
Tigers.
19, which was really a really tough break for them. So that makes this game their final game against the current seventh ranked team in the Aviators, just amped up to the fullest. And I'll show you guys the schedule and how those games will lay out. But yeah, and as for the Hogs, they have to win. Like if they lose by any means, they're going. But even if they
The Hogs have
win,
to win,
they have to hope for the
and the
Pioneers to
Pioneers have to
lose.
lose.
Yeah.
And then same thing with the Miners. The Miners are on. There's only one path for the Miners to get in. They have to win.
Mm-hmm. I think my PC just
The
froze.
Aviators have to win. The Black
Okay.
Knights have to lose. Oh, can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So you said they have to win, Aviators have to win, and the Black Knights have to lose.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys hear that right
So the
there.
Aviators have to win because the Miners can't pass them. So if they're both 10-7, the Miners stay underneath the Aviators. However, the Black Knights beat the Aviators. So if it's a three-way tie at 10-7, the Aviators have to go before the Miners, but the Black Knights have to go before the Aviators. So it would stay in this order.
All right, yeah, so well, so you're saying yeah, because the miners can't jump them. So how would it say? Wouldn't the Black Knights go underneath both of them if they lose, right?
No, because the Black Knight. So the way it works is that you only take one team per division
Mm-hmm.
for a tiebreaker.
Okay.
So if it's a three-way tie, since the Miners or Aviators are in the same division, one of them have to be eliminated first. Well, the Aviators are above the Miners.
All right. So yeah. So
So then it's
regardless,
Miners and Black Knights.
so regardless of what happens, Aviators will stay above the miners.
Yes,
So is there really a
the
shot
Aviators have
for?
to win.
Yeah. Okay. So Aviators have to win. Um, but would that mean they? So even if they win though, because I see the Black Knights, because you said it would stay in this
They can't have
order,
the same record.
they can't have the same record.
Yeah.
Okay. So what? But who would they?
But if
Hmm.
the Aviators are one game ahead, Knights.
Oh, ahead of the Black Knights. Oh, I got you. Okay,
So
now I
if the
see it.
Black Knights are 10-7 and the Miners are 10-7, the Miners can pass the Black Knights as long as the Aviators are 11-6.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's very important. So yeah, that's their shots right here on the guys that's currently outside. Rest of these teams right here that's close, well, which is actually pretty much just the Pioneers, Black Knights, and Aviators. They just have to win, and that's it. You're saying, right?
Yeah, so like if the Black Knights win, that's it. These are the 7 teams.
Okay. Let's get a look. I'm trying to move this to the side, but it's not like a sideways view. Um, all I can do is that's why I might need to full screen this thing. So uh, let me put capture. Yeah, let's just full screen this thing and try to get this so guys can see every aspect. What's that?
There you
Okay,
go.
let's minimize this a little bit. There we go. I need to see the edge part here. And now, okay, so add a little bit, I guess. Rest of that. Put that there. And then down. All right. So that's our full screen. So now you guys can see on this other side here, this is the playoffs we just went over. And these are the teams that have a chance, which is crazy. The Thunderbirds still have a shot, and the Explorers are in a must-win game, as we talked about, in order for them to make the postseason. First, it's easy for the Explorers, right? Is it guaranteed though? Even if they win, are they in or no?
No, because the Shamrocks currently have the title. If the Shamrocks and the Explorers win, well, the Shamrocks stay at the 7. The Explorers don't pass them.
Well, that's big. So I mean, to even have a shot, they got to beat the Diablos. And I've already talked with you, Forbes. Uh, you're not sitting your guys. You're full out there playing. This is best team, no, for 100% team versus 100% team going at it. Now the Explorers have had some guys that are injured that are coming back. We'll see if that plays a factor in it. But that's definitely not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination for the Explorers. You guys are already locked in. And now the craziest scenario to talk about, the only other team that has a chance are the Thunderbirds, which is crazy. If they are to win, they will be an 8-9 team to make the playoffs. How is that even possible?
For the Thunderbirds, obviously they need to win. They need to be 8 and 9. But then they need the Shamrocks and the Explorers to lose.
Which those two guys are playing. So the Shamrocks are playing the Desperados, as you can see from the game here. By the way, if anybody wants to keep up with the league and use this exact same website or app to keep up with the RFL, make sure you guys. I think I got a thing for it. Let me see. Uh, yeah, here we go. And let me use this real quick. Oh, well, let me drag it up top. Yeah. There we go. Make sure you guys scan that. So you want to go ahead and keep up with this stuff, scan that, keep up with the league, with the players and everything that's going on so far, the playoffs, everything you need to know about the league is there, stats, everything. So scan that, request to be a part of it, and I'll go ahead and of course accept your request, so that way you have access to Neon Sports of the RFL like you're seeing right now. But again, looking at these games that they got, the Shamrocks right here playing the Desperados. The Desperados may be locked for the playoffs, but they have a shot at being the number 1 seed in a game they have to win, right? If they beat the Shamrocks, they are the number 1 seed. Am I correct here, Forbes?
Yeah, according to NFL tiebreakers, the Desperados, if they win, doesn't matter what happens to the Snowhawks, they should be the 1 seed. Right now, Madden has the Snowhawks at number 1 for whatever reason, I've done the math using the NFL tiebreakers. It should be the Desperados right now. So it might be because they played an uneven amount of conference games.
Mhm.
But assuming the Desperados win, they have a better conference record. They'll end up being number one.
So that game is important. This is not a game where Marquise Washington is going to be taking a seat. So this is 100% full power Desperados versus the Shamrocks, who have been in a struggle as of lately. So that right there, that's odds in favor of the Thunderbirds, right? The other game that you talked about was the
Explorers, Diablos.
Explorers, which we just talked about. So we've seen the Explorers have their fair share of struggles. Forbes is not sitting his starters. That's a full powered game right there in favor of the Diablos. So those two areas right there alone gives the Thunderbirds a great chance. Of course, the Thunderbirds will have to win their game, which is against the Barons. They are favored to win that game. But we just saw the Barons beat the Explorers, which the Thunderbirds did not, and they beat them with 44 points on the board. So this is not guaranteed, but the Thunderbirds literally have their own destiny in their own hands to give it at least a chance if they can win that. And what is the last game they have to worry about?
That's it. Because
That's it.
if the Shamrocks lose, the Steamers win the division.
Okay, so the Shamrocks lose, the Steamers win their division. So
And to answer Pat's
okay,
question, yes, the Explorers do have the tiebreaker over the Thunderbirds. That's why I said the Shamrocks also have to lose. Because then it creates a three-way tie between three teams in three different divisions. The Shamrocks did not play the Explorers or the Thunderbirds, so head-to-heads no longer count. It goes straight to conference record, in which the Thunderbirds had the best conference record between those three teams
oh
in
boy.
a three-way 8 and 9 tie.
All I gotta say is if the Thunderbirds somehow find a way to get into the playoffs with a losing record, I know that's going to send the league in a frenzy. But it's crazy because they really only have to worry about those three games. Win their game. They need you to win their game, your game against their old rivals, and the Desperados are competing for a top seed, so they're going to be sending everything they've got at the Shamrock. So these guys legit have a shot, which is just crazy to even think of. Um, is there any other scenarios that we can bring up that are interesting to talk about? Like, what are some other pathways? Maybe just little quick things
Um,
too. Maybe on every team, like what they need to do to secure their spot.
well, I mean, obviously, there's only one matchup that's guaranteed to happen, and that is the 3-6 Lumberjacks Diablos. That will happen. Neither team can move.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, you can still have it where the Steamers lose, the Shamrocks win, and then the Shamrocks jump back up to um number number 4. They win the division.
Hmm.
Another interesting thing is that the Explorers, the Explorers want the Steamers to win the division
Okay. And why is that?
because the Steamers beat the Explorers. So if there's a tie at 7, the Steamers are still over the Explorers. The Explorers want to jump the Shamrocks. That's their easiest path in.
Oh man. So Steam Bill's a Steamers fan at this
If it's a
point.
three-way tie at 8 and 9 with the Steam, so say the Shamrocks win the division, and now it's an 8 and 9 Steamers, Thunderbirds, Explorers, and those three teams are 8 and 9. The Steamers beat both of them. The Steamers will be the 7 seed.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so even
The
if
only way the Steamers,
The Steamers lose, they still have a shot.
yeah, the only way for the Steamers to fall out is if they lose, and then the Shamrocks and Explorers both win.
Okay.
It's a four-way tie, Darius. It's a four-way tie at 8 and 9. The Steamers win the division, and the Thunderbirds get the 7 seed.
Also, technically, that's two ways for the Thunderbirds to make the
Well,
playoffs.
it's still one. It means the Steamers game doesn't matter.
Wow. Yeah, that's just crazy to think about. Nobody would have thought that an 8 and 9 team potentially would even be in that situation. So that's just crazy to think about. We never seen any elimination graphics for them yet, and I'm gonna be honest. I was sitting there waiting. I was like, these guys still ain't done yet, and apparently not. So that is crazy to think about. Let's go ahead and get a look at, again, just utilizing, showing you guys what is available on Neon Sports. Let's go get a look at the divisions right now, man. Who would have expected this? If this was back to the old ways, this would have been the end of the regular season right now with 16 games. But of course, the last 2 years, 17 games with an extended game. We've got, I think this is the first year. Is this the first year we've had 17 games in the RFL season?
No,
Because
this is at least our second. 'Cause
so
I was 14-3 2 seasons ago.
okay, so season 8, you were 14-3.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. So this is, of course, the first time we're doing it in one file, and I mean, just get a look at this. No one projected the ARC North to have the Pioneers on top, the Cougars on the bottom, and the Huskies here at third. I mean, this is just crazy. 9-7, 9-7, 8-8, 2-14. I definitely did not expect the Cougars to be at that level. Of course, a lot of things went on with them this season, and what I guess we'll go in each division and just talk about our thoughts on how the season unfolded within the division. So when you're looking at the ARC North, man, what's your thoughts on what you're seeing right now?
Uh,
Or
if you
even
would have told me
even
that
key
the
points,
that,
like
that
even if you want to bring up key points on what you think altered their season, be feel free to do that.
I mean, I think the biggest thing is that if you told me that the 4 teams were flipped, I would have said that was more realistic.
Yeah,
Like, but I mean, obviously, season just didn't go right for the Cougars at all.
yeah.
No, if because I obviously I'm a stats guy. I go and look. The Cougars were sacked. Like their quarterbacks were sacked an average of about 8 times a game. They were by far the most sacked team in the league.
Sheesh.
And so, I mean, I think
Hopefully, they didn't cut him off.
that locker room, I don't know what happened. So just a lot going on there. The Huskies, I think Poole started out really good, but I don't know, kind of disappointing. I think everyone in the league expected more from the Huskies.
Hmm.
Um, I know the Hogs are about to make the playoffs, and don't take this the wrong way.
Hmm.
Ronnie Shanahan, Ronnie football, all that good stuff. Um, Hogs offense was not good.
Yeah.
If you go and look, they're still ranked 30th in total offense and like 32nd in passing offense, and then fifth in rushing.
And also, so
Um,
you guys have access to this. You click and boom.
yeah, see, so they're if you look right there, 32nd in pass, third in rush, then 32nd total yards.
Yeah.
They're just I think if you click on let's see. Yeah, scroll down to pass yards leader, then click on Ronnie Shanahan real quick. And then go to career stats. So it'll show you as a RFL starter, right, who's played every game, he averages under 200 yards a game as a starter.
188.17.
And so, you know, I think Ronnie's got a long career ahead of himself. I think, the Hogs will be good in the future. He definitely held them back.
Yeah.
I think the Hogs could have ran away with this division with a more veteran quarterback.
Yeah, and that's a bullet, that I chose to take in a sense with the team. Um, I know Dunn was the main guy who was pushing, saying, "Hey, man, get a veteran quarterback here." But then when you look at what was there, I mean, of course, if it was possible, I definitely would have looked to try to make a move for Jabri Jackson, but he had already been signed, so there is no trading Jabri Jackson. And you're looking at, you have Holden Wolf in free agency and stuff like that, but what I looked at that really solidified just keeping him there was I just said, let me throw him in there and see what he does. And of course, when we get a look at the games that these guys played, I mean,
Yeah, if
off
you
rip,
if you go back to just him,
yeah, Oh, to just him?
Go back to just him.
Okay. The back button. Yeah.
Then you can just hit game log,
You know. Yeah.
and it'll show you specific stats for each game.
Yeah, so right there you can see the schedule alongside with it. And now was he playing to a level where it was like, oh, this guy's the future? Not necessarily, but like honestly, this is where he was getting it done was the scrambling. Now the yardage might not be crazy. He had 2 touchdowns at least in that game, but what he was doing was extending plays at the right time, and they were winning because of that and good defense, right? So I'm like, he's not damaging this team. He may not have the efficient passing yards. Look like he was getting together because I mean, look at this win streak at this point. 198. Okay, that's not a lot. 112, definitely not a lot. Then you got 2 back-to-back 240 games. Got a touchdown, so 2 touchdowns to 1. He also ran for 2 touchdowns. So we're looking at 4 touchdowns to 1. They took down the Desperados. It was the first team to beat the Desperados when they were 3-0. And they went on to even beat the Thunderbirds and the Huskies. So when you look at that, man, I'm looking like,
Teams who are currently going to miss the playoffs, though.
yeah, but
As of
at
right
that
now,
time, though, at that time, you're looking at it like this is the Thunderbirds, this is the Huskies, and they beat them. Honestly, if both of those teams win that game like they're really supposed to, they are playoff teams. So to me, I was like, they're 6-0 with this guy. So I didn't feel there was no need. I didn't think it was going to get this drastic. Of course, towards the end, the trade deadline was already coming up, and he was already developing, and he started getting XP stuff. So I'm like, I'm gonna just keep him out there. And of course, went on a 6 game win streak, and then went
in
on
a
a six
6 game
game
losing
losing
streak.
streak. And you can see right there, and these games, some of these games was close, man. Which is why I
I think
still
all of
didn't.
them were close.
Yeah, other
And
than the
like I said, my
Pioneers.
argument wasn't that he played bad or was a terrible rookie. The argument is that if you put a veteran in there, they've probably already won the division by this point.
Yeah, and so I had him at least winning, and this is all they need right now. If it was the case, I had him at least winning one more game, at least out of these, and that just didn't happen. I definitely was kind of banking on the Pioneers to be that game, but it definitely didn't turn out like that.
Now they
Um,
got swept by the Pioneers.
yeah, and then again, you look at the tougher games where you really don't think they're going to pull it out, which they didn't, but 3 point game against the Voyagers, 6 point games against the Red Dragons earlier, right there, a 4 point game against the Celtic Tigers, a 2 point game against you guys, and
Mhm.
then they got blown out by the Huskies. So it's just a rough patch that they went through right here, but they were in a lot of these games. They were able to
They
beat
were, but if you go look why they were in, yeah,
mm,
it's a 6 point game, but they only scored 13.
yeah, but still,
It's a three
I,
point
I, I,
game. They've only scored 19.
yeah, but still, even then, winning a game is winning a game.
Oh,
So
I know,
even in these earlier games, I mean, look at the most points they scored, 28 points. They were
but that
winning
means
because
that
of good
it goes back to
defense.
what I said though, is that the defense was Ronnie was there, but the defense was holding teams under a certain threshold,
Yeah,
and when they couldn't do that anymore,
yeah, and that's what,
that's when they.
and that's still like I was still willing to bank on that because for one, it's been great development for Ronnie, despite how this season goes. I mean, they're still in the running for the playoffs, but I was banking on him being able to still pull out one, and the defense, like I said, still kind of did their job. No team scored over 30 points. I mean, still 24 is a decent amount. You don't want to be giving that up, but like at the end of the day, the defense, in my opinion, still play pretty good. Let me go look at the again their
Yeah, their
defense. Their
defenses.
defense top 10, literally in every
Yeah,
category except against the run. So it's just like,
they also led the league in sacks
yeah.
and turnovers.
So when you look at that, man, I just thought that, hey, if it's been working for them, it'll work. It'll continue at some point. Which I mean, they're still in it, but by the hairs of their chin, they gotta beat the Armadillos. Which if we look right here, Week 18. That's their final game, so that's not in their favor at all. So and I don't think Roland's sitting his guys. So
I talked to him. He's not.
yeah, so he's not sitting his guys. Uh, we'll see, man. And Ronnie Shanahan is going to be that guy that has to. If he pulls that game out, that'll be amazing. But Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot to get that done. We'll see if it happens. Um, but yeah, what were we just talking about outside before
The
that?
divisions.
The
So
divisions. Okay,
go back
so
to the Pioneers,
yeah,
who are just a nice story.
yeah.
They won some games they weren't. You can just go back to home.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, that's where we're. I was like, hold up, what
And the
page was it?
Pioneers were a nice story, but I think they also benefited from the Cougars falling apart. Benefited from Ronnie being not an elite guy yet, and I don't really have any excuses for the Huskies. I don't know what's up with them.
Yeah, the only
But they
team
just
to
kind of
beat
benefited from
them.
the other three teams in their division not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, because they split. They beat them bad the first game. Then the second game, they didn't do good at all. So it was just very inconsistent play from the Huskies. All right, looking at the South, man. How about Roland his first year coming in? He's the number one team in the ARC, 12-4 record. This division was cooking in the first half, man. Like they were neck and neck. They were just as competitive as the next division we'll go on to talk about in the ARC East. And the other guys just fell apart, man, like bad. Like, what points you want to talk about and discuss about the ARC South?
Um, when it comes to ARC South, Roland was just having to be one of the few teams that found a book that worked, and it worked all season long. There weren't any gameplay updates that changed it, any playbook updates that changed it. He found it. It worked for his team. He stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he didn't have to go through that mid-season crisis of is this the right one?
Yeah, and then he
Um,
he ended up losing the game because he tried to go
yeah.
with a
Whereas
different
I
book.
think Frankie is in the opposite boat. Obviously, as a lot of us coaches do, I know you do too.
Mm-hmm.
You like to go check, what is every other team doing right now?
Yeah,
And Frankie, at the end of the season, I noticed he changed his playbook a bunch when he started to lose,
yeah,
and then it just kept his offense just couldn't keep it up anymore.
yeah. That was tough. I mean, we get a look at his schedule here. It's such a great start, right? I mean, look at this. Dub took the L, but dub L. 4-game winning streak. Took a L, okay. Then beat the Steamers and haven't won a game since in week 12.
Yeah. Now that is a hard stretch. The Celtic
CT
Tigers, the
tough.
Voyagers, the Hogs.
Gunners though game should have beat at the level
Yeah,
they were
the Gunners
playing.
game. And I remember
Voyagers.
watching that game, and
Mhm.
they were up 22. No, they were up 16 to like 3 until like the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left, and then the Gunners scored twice out of nowhere.
Yeah, I wish they showed you by quarter, which they don't. But
It's just the
it's
recap.
cool you get to
Yeah,
get the
I think
recap there.
Tion going into the fourth quarter only had like 150 yards, and then the next two drives combined had 90 and both touchdowns.
Yeah, you can see those
They
touchdowns
just
right here. How about
yeah,
Owen Jack, man? The offense. What about the struggles of the Dreadnoughts offense?
they haven't been able to figure it out. It kind of came down to a lot of teams struggled running this year, but it and I know the Dreadnoughts had a lot of receiver injury this year's,
Mhm.
but it felt like it kind of got down to Owen Jack snaps the ball. Where the heck is KJ?
Yeah, it worked out for him last season a little bit, but yeah, not this season. We get a look. I mean, the offense is still ranked in the middle of the pack, but the problem right here, points per game.
Yep.
25. You need those points on the board, especially in this league. Defense was doing its thing, man. And I feel like this kind of got dragged down a little bit more due to the fact that the offense wasn't staying on the field long enough.
Yep.
And yeah,
Offense couldn't move the ball, so other teams just started putting up yards.
yeah, a tough break for them. How about the Voyagers, man? What's your take on the Voyagers?
I agree with I think I wouldn't say the Voyagers have been a disappointment this year. You got to remember that the first 3 games of the season, even with Ronnie Shanahan and all the other quarterbacks, Glenn Hay had the worst passer rating in the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was just the worst statistic quarterback this season. So made the move to Monty, revitalized the team. As soon as he did that, as soon as he made that switch, you have to have different expectations of the team.
Mm-hmm. His last game,
Oh,
he actually did pretty good. 3 touchdowns, a 1 interception, but again, a loss. And I remember that game vividly where they tried to go for two, didn't get it, and they could have went in overtime. So that was rough right there against the Sentinels.
as soon as they decided to start Monty, a younger, not as polished quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
well, obviously Baker's vision is still, hey, reloable. We were just there, what, 2 seasons ago,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. So you go to Monty, who's above an 80 overall now. Yeah, he's an 83. He's young, but he's not that experienced X factor quarterback anymore. So
Yeah.
now they're more so. You just got to change your expectations. I wouldn't say this is disappointing. I think this is a good first starting season for Monty.
Yeah, and you can see right here, started from
I no
week
longer
4
had
on.
them
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Monty.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a 6-7 record. I think you got cut off. I think you were in the middle of something. I couldn't hear you. You were saying something?
Oh, I just as soon as they decided to make that switch, I no longer had the Voyagers in my head as like, hey, this is a readable team. Like, hey, this is a guy trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Monty didn't play
So
too
I
bad.
yeah, I think Monty had a good first year, and next year, if Monty can show to be consistent, we might get back to that kind of conversation for the Voyagers.
Yeah, and there were some tough games for the Voyagers too. I mean, even this right here was not as bad as the score says. Like this was literally like 14-7, and like the fourth quarter were like 5 minutes, even probably less than that left, and it just got ugly towards the end with turnovers. Uh, and then this game they got ran out. It was just a good job by the Miners. This one they had too. They literally had the Armadillos
Oh,
beat and let the Dillos offense, which is explosive anyway, top offense in the league, go down, kick the game-winning field goal, and they lost that heartbreaking fashion. I mean, they were losing some really close games. I mean, this was close to. Remember, both of these games were live with the Bulldogs losing to them by a possession, losing to the Explorers by a possession, and it really came off the interception that Monty Wyatt threw late in the fourth, which really hurt him. So it's just stuff like that. A big
that
game that they
DC
could have
game.
won. Yeah, DC game could have won a different way. This game they just lost this week was in overtime. They lost by 3 points to the Monarchs, who struggled this season. So I mean, they were in it for a minute here, and of course their last game of the season is going to be against the Sentinels, who they're going to look to try to get even against, who they lost to by literally just 1 point. But yeah,
And
tough.
speaking of the Sentinels,
Yeah, I know you.
I
It's
think
time to
I think
go in.
more so I think the Sentinels are my biggest disappointment of this season.
Oh man, where the bell at? I need the bell. There it is.
I mean,
Oh,
they
nice graphic
start
here,
four
Tor.
and one and then lose 10 of their next 11 games.
Sheesh. Let's go ahead and look at that. By the
Like
way, schedule. And look at this. All this
they
green.
started 4-1
4-1. 3 game
and then
losing
lose
streak.
10 of the next 11. And some of these aren't even close. Some of them they're just getting smacked around.
Yeah. So their the last win on that streak was against the Steamers. I mean, they beat some pretty good teams early on. We didn't know what Chicago was going to be, but that game was close. And even the ones they won, you can see they were all close. Other than the Steamers, like they
Yeah.
beat the Steamers pretty convincingly. But I do remember that game. Reed Wagner played absolutely horrible, which he's been inconsistent this year, but that's rare to see. And they called him. So this was probably their biggest win here, just not only by the
What
margin, but
they
against
also
the
only had
team.
5 of them, so
Yeah, and and
what
and
put the stamp on it for me
mhm.
was week 15 against the Bisons.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad right here. Let's go ahead and get a look at that. Um, just a
Like
look at the player
and
comparison.
I see the chat on the side. It wasn't really an offensive problem. Like DWJ does turn the ball over a lot, but I think they were still top 10 in yards, top 10 in touchdowns, all that good
Yeah,
stuff.
Flame
But
was
he
going
just
off.
couldn't close out games.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. This is tough. Tough if you're a Sentinels fan. I mean, and they were. I gotta give y'all a little bell, man. Y'all was talking heavy then in the beginning of the season, It's like, hey, we roll this hard. Hey, Tor done swagged out his team page. Hey, coaches, you can get like Tor, man. Put these pictures up on y'all's pages, man. But
Using them AI generated images.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I mean that Sentinel is tough, and probably would change this out with a picture that has our actual uniforms on it because we have never wore these. But yeah, man, this is tough. This is just tough to see. Um, I mean, like you said, these
I don't
weren't
know how
even
to describe
close.
it. They just it's inexcusable
Yeah, and
to
let's go
force.
by the based off of what they did. Okay, lost to the Dreadnoughts. Okay, division rival. Dreadnoughts are known, in my opinion, the favorites. I'm pretty sure they were that week. Still beat them by 17. You're like, man, that's a pretty good beating for a division game. Then another division game against the Armadillos. They were beating on everybody pretty good then at that time, but they still had some close games. Beat them by 13. So you're like, okay. But this one right here, Shamrocks did them in
Mm.
pretty bad. I mean, that's a 21-point victory. But the Shamrocks at that time were pretty good. So looking at these three games, you're like, okay. I mean, they just came off the four. Right now, they're 4-4. Then they won their last game of the season against the Pioneers. Barely. This is the only game that did not get recorded. Excuse me. Got to give the bell out there. Yeah, I mean for the mistake that happened, but yeah, they lost that, but they won that, but in overtime against the Pioneers. Didn't win anything since. Jordan Granger beats them 26-14. DC, was this their first win or second? I think this was their second because they beat the Steamers. I think first was their first win.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
beat the Steamers first.
yeah, and then they played the Dillos again. Okay, Dillos they made it close, but Dillos got it done. Huskies were struggling at this time, but they beat them. But and like you said, this was the game where it's just like, nah, you can't get beat by the Bisons 34-17. But they did. Had a close game against the Bulls, lost that one, and a close game against Ronnie Shanahan and the Hogs, lost that one. So, like you said, inexcusable. That's tough. There were some scenarios going on throughout the season though. Coach Tour wasn't able to coach. He had to get on the road for trucking, so we understand that. New coach came in and someone interested in being a coach in the RFL and Kennard Rodan. So he was just coming in trying to figure things out. I don't know what happened to Nick, man. I guess you're not going to talk anymore after what happened this season. But I mean, the offense was it bad? Not really. Like Tour, like Forbes was saying. I mean, look at this top three best pass offense in the league. Now, of course, interceptions could be a problem. If we look at the
You just look at
statistics,
statistics.
yeah, look at statistics here. I mean, 65%. I mean, that's league wise, that's average. Um, that's not bad. 14 interceptions, that is pretty high though. Pretty high. Is he the most intercepted quarterback? No, but he also has 27 touchdowns, and if you watch him, he played pretty good. So would I say that he's the biggest problem? No, they were still giving up a lot of points on defense too. And if we get a look at that defense, look at this, dead last in points,
Yep.
no, in yards, and against
Yards
the
given up in
pass.
passing yards.
And this league loves to pass the football. So if you're dead last in that, and then you couldn't even really stop the run either, 28. This is why this happened. Defense couldn't stop a soul, couldn't stop a nosebleed. So yeah, that's just rough. And final bell's got to go out to the Sentinels, man. That was that was bad. All right, so that's a look at the a recap of the ARC South. Let's talk about the toughest division in RFL football right now that has eliminated last year's champs, the ARC East, man. I expected this division to be very competitive, but
And
not with the Black Knights involved. I didn't think the Black Knights were going to be that good, especially with the schedule that they had. I did think highly of the Bulls coming into this season, and of course CT in London. But man, at this point in the season, I would not have thought that the Bulldogs would have got eliminated. For my 2 cents, before I have you break down certain teams, the Bulldogs, man, I don't know what happened with them the last two games, but the defense was just they couldn't stop anything, man. And I was just like, wow, how is this happening? It's been the same defense all year. And
you click on them. I want you to go to their schedule real quick because I
yeah,
remember telling you this at like week 2. Like I told you in like week 2 or 3, Even if they made the playoffs, I knew the Bulldogs were not going to win their division because I
Oh, yeah,
remember telling you, if you look at their last 6 games, they were all on the road.
yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, definitely
Well,
crazy.
now I
It,
did. I thought they would still sneak in as a wild card because they're the defending champs.
mm-hmm.
I knew no matter where they were, just ending with 6 straight road games is tough for anybody,
Yeah.
especially when you're based out of London.
Facts. Another thing too, though, man, is like if you look at these L's, and this is what I think about when I look at certain teams, man, is the strength of schedule is so important. Is what the game changer was this season
For
for a
them,
lot
yeah.
of teams because there's no bad losses that I see here except for this one, and they lost that by 1 point. And the Aviators actually been good this year. Uh, the Explorers were still a good team. They were getting back hot at that time, but the Thunder, the Bulldogs losing to the Explorers, nobody's going to think anything. Bulldogs losing to CT, nobody's going to think anything. This is the second year in a row they got swept. Losing to the Snogs, same deal. Now the Bulls, that was close, but yeah, this game though they should have had that one too. Folded on that one, but again, the Bulls were playing great all year, and so there's no L on here where I'm just like, yeah, they underperformed in terms of what the record
Record.
says. But if you're looking at how things played out, it just was a tough schedule that did not go their way.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, you got to play who's in front of you. If you're the defending champs, well, you get the first place schedule. That's how it
Mm-hmm.
works.
Yeah, and they definitely got some heat, man. And I guess that's the point I really wanted to talk about with the London Bulldogs and of course them missing out on the postseason. But what's your takeaways from the rest of the teams in this division and how the season was going?
Um, I don't know. I feel like there's a little less to talk about in this division because I feel like other than the Bulldogs, this is kind of what everyone thought.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I think the biggest thing for the Bulls, Devin Wade is finally here. You've been saying it for years. It's finally
Yeah.
happened. He's here.
Speaking of that, man, I mean, like this is just crazy. Look at Devin Wade, most expensive player on the team, and he got paid and said, "I'm willing to play now." That's pretty much what it seemed like happened. Game log. I mean, this is ridiculous. I think he's only thrown. They said only four
4 interceptions all
interceptions,
year.
and it's only happened in 3 games. So, and that was in their loss against the Condors, their win against Dublin,
CT.
and their win against the Sentinels. So, like this guy, when he has thrown interceptions, let's count it up. That's 3-1, three
It's
three.
4 total.
Yeah, that's 3-3, and then uh 6. Was that 6-4 then?
Are you going to touchdowns?
Yeah, I'm trying to
Just click career stats.
career stats.
Yeah, just right next to it, and just look
Oh
at
no,
this
I was looking
year's.
in
Don't look
terms
at
of
yards.
interceptions, like the interception games, the times he did throw interception. What was the touchdown to
He's
interception
only thrown four
ratio?
picks.
Yeah, so 4 picks, and that is I think that's is that 9? Yeah. Well, no, 6. So in the games that he had thrown interception, he's still thrown 6 touchdowns to 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
Now is that the best? Not really. That's average, mid. But I mean, look at how many games this dude went no picks. 4 touchdowns against the Gunners. Is that impressive with the way they look? No, not really. 2 against the
Week
Barons.
2 was still Jabri Jackson. We ain't know yet.
Yeah. Beat Bison's out. That's not a shock. Black Knight's not really a shock. They're a good team this year, but their defense is still very young and on paper not too good. But 3-1 against the Celtic Tigers right there. Um, they had a bad game against, and they got blown out. That was the worst they got blown out this season was by the Condors. Um, but then 2 touchdowns, no interceptions against the Bulldogs. Then went 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. So 5 touchdowns and no picks against the Bulldogs defense, which is just crazy.
Yep.
And then 3 touchdowns against the Aviators. Now this wouldn't sound like that's good, but the Aviators at this point had the best pass defense in the league. They were ranked 1. Like that, their secondary is actually pretty good
I
somehow.
still think the Aviators are top 5.
Yeah, and we can get a look at that real quick and go right back. Pass defense.
Oh, no, they've
Ooh,
fallen
they've
off.
fallen off so bad.
Their
Yeah.
rush defense is still top
Well,
5.
I
That's what I'll
think
say
this
about
definitely went down after the beating they got from Anthony Savoy. Like I
yeah.
think that's what happened. So yeah, but they were literally like the top secondary in the league. And then yeah, Cougars defense, you still gotta give it because Cougars, despite the rough season, their defense was top tier. 2 touchdowns, not a
Mhm.
single pick. Um and dude just you can't say he did not do his thing. And again, like Forbes said, to go in here, 31 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. That's remarkable. That's why he's in the MVP candidate race right now. Um,
I think it's a two-man race.
yeah. You think Gino's out of it?
The way Savoy and Wade have played the last 2 to 3 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
because remember Savoy is
I think it cut you out, but let me back out real fast.
still Savoy led, so
Yeah, it cut you out a
yeah,
little bit.
I
My
think that's
bad.
about it for the East.
Yeah. How about the Black Knights though?
It's not. So they had McCall last year. I think they finished with what, like, I mean, there were still auto wins, but they went like what, like
Actually, had a
7
good season.
and 10-ish, whatever. So you add Geno Gannon, which is, no offense to McCall, a much better quarterback. This happens.
Yeah, and this is a very young team that I think is going to once they get some more pieces, and they got the money. So they got the money. They just were able to pay
Yep.
Geno Gannon. Um, again, you're able to see how much they're spending, right?
Yeah, here. So available, they remember we have to take 30 because our salary cap's 270 and Madden it's 300.
Yeah,
They have 140 million available.
which is crazy. So even if they
Yeah.
wanted somehow free agency went crazy, boom and splurge, like these guys can get better almost just about any moment, which is crazy. Let's see, a mix in there. It says Black Knights were 7-10. Why? So
I
why
don't remember.
guys
I just know
saying
they weren't the best last year.
um that's they weren't 7-10. They definitely didn't go 7-10. For Black Knights last season, they actually had a pretty decent season. Of course, with auto wins, but I think what they broke even 6-6, which would make them what 11-6. Should have it
Did they
actually in the
break even?
Discord. You can easily check this in the Discord real fast. And the seasons page, let me go check that real quick. Um, yeah, RFL seasons. We're looking at season 8. If I scroll all the way up, Black Knights were 6-6. Yeah, so they were 11-6.
Okay.
Yeah, so they
Or
actually
11 and
did
6.
pretty good.
Did they
Um,
make the playoff? 11
I
and
think
6?
they just missed it. Like they literally just missed it. Yep, they just missed it.
So yeah, Rob, you are using them wrong.
So yeah, man. Yeah, I guess they ain't really too much to talk about. It's just still shocking, 2 years in a row, despite having a better quarterback too, which is going to help them. I'm shocked by the defense though. Defense, for whatever reason, just works. It's not the best in the league. It's not top 10 or nothing like that, but it's good. And somehow they mesh together and they stop guys from being able to, just have an onslaught on them like you would think on paper. So let's get a look at the West here, man, because the Aviators were running this thing for a minute. They were the longest winning team up until week 7. So they were 6-0. And now here they are ever since then, 4-6 in their last 10 games. And now we've got the San Diego Red Dragons leading the division after they've went on their crazy 8-game winning streak to be 11-5. What's your takeaways from these teams in this division?
Um, gotta hand it to Davis. Like I said with Rowan earlier, he was tinkering around with stuff. They found something, kept at it, and now Savoy's in MVP contention. You
Yeah.
know, we were, what was it, last year, when, because I think Savoy signed a contract last season, his extension.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't know if he was going to try to trade him because
Yeah.
Savoy killed it his rookie year, and the next 3 years was wishy washy. I think they missed the playoffs those 3 straight because Savoy won it his rookie year, right? That's when they won the Real Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So he won it as a rookie, and then they missed the playoffs for the 3 straight years afterwards
Yeah.
because he fell off for whatever reason. It looks like they finally figured it out. He kept with them, kept with Savoy, and now they're back to where me and you both just picked them to come out of the ARC.
Yeah.
Davis has found something, and Savoy's been killing it.
And look at this, man. And these are some blowouts on good teams. Blowout on the Bulls. I don't know how they got a close game against the Elks. It almost look like Steelers territory. They lose against the teams they shouldn't get close. But blow out the Bisons. Okay. Good game here against the Miners. They were able to split right there, close one. Then they blew out. This is where I felt like they really started to turn up because they blew out the Snowhawks right there. They were able to best you guys in a close one.
In overtime.
Yeah, and OT, and then blew out the Bulldogs. This is kind of where the Bulldogs kind of
I'm at
just
that.
folded. I mean, 41-24 is crazy. And then to come back and beat the Aviators, who you go back all the way up to week 3. That game says 49-31, which already looks like a
Mhm.
blowout just off the score alone, but that game was way worse than that before, the garbage time scoring. So to go from that to coming back and beating them by 38 points, this team is beyond red hot right now. And then you look at those games, or he's been on this streak. Let's count this up. Only 3 interceptions in the 8-game winning streak so far compared to that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12 plus 8. That's 20 touchdown passes to 3 interceptions in 8 games.
Mhm.
That's just ridiculous. That's complete difference.
That doesn't count any of his rushing.
Yeah, and the rushing, he leads all quarterbacks in rushing touchdowns. I think he's still got 10. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 rushing touchdowns. Like, and they're not showing the complete stats here. When I go to the career stats, do they have rushing in somewhere?
Yeah, you just
Yeah,
go
yeah,
scroll
right here.
over.
Okay, yeah, scrolled over. Okay, yeah, 524 rushing and 10 touchdowns to his 28. So he's got 38 total touchdowns. So that's huge. And I think that's why he's really in the running because it really comes down to that total for quarterbacks. If I go and say for instance, okay, that's 38 touchdowns. Let's look at the MVPs real fast. Um is Devin Wade not on
None of them are
there?
in there.
Okay.
I
Um
think yeah, none of them are in there because they have too many I think what's holding Chum Lee back
the
is his
picks.
like almost 20 interceptions.
Yeah, the picks is definitely what held him back. Um all right, yeah, let's look at his stats right here.
37 to
And
8.
yeah, so that right there, the 6 touchdowns, he is just a touchdown below Anthony Savoy, which is what has him over him. I think whoever ends up in the season with the most touchdowns between those 3 are going to be is going to be your MVP. But really,
MVP.
Devin Wade though, like I think he definitely has the more favorable shot because he's only thrown 4 interceptions, which is
Yeah.
again this really crazy touchdown interception ratio. Um, but he hasn't ran as many touchdowns in. See if we get a look at this. Okay, actually he has. I did not even think he had 5 rushing
He's at
touchdowns.
36.
So at 36 touchdowns, but what's kind of putting him above is the interceptions being so low. So this is such a close neck and neck race. It's crazy. And again, just to look at Chum Lee, who's
Okay,
been
so when we
killing
go look
everywhere
at Chum
else.
Lee, I actually want you to go to because this is my opinion on Chum Lee, right? I actually
Mm-hmm.
want you on the side. You should see like the statistics tab all the way to the left,
Mm-hmm.
and then go to like passing for like just all the leaders.
All the leaders. Oh, you're probably behind.
So like on the left side, like the all the way to the left, that
All the
little
way.
drop down
Oh,
menu.
okay. To the leaders,
Yeah, to
statistics.
passing leaders and go there.
Yeah.
Or oh, that's team though. That so they don't have a see all.
See passing.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and then I want you to sort by attempts. It's the very first column.
Okay. Here we go.
So sort by that.
That's
He has
ridiculous.
almost what's that? 100 more attempts than the next person.
And only still 32 touchdowns
So
with
like,
13
I
picks.
know he has all the yards. I like he also averages the most yards per game. He's also thrown 100 more passes than the next person, which means we only play 17. He's throwing at least 8 more passes than just who's in second place per game.
Crazy.
So
That's
like,
crazy.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's working. I'm not knocking Roland, but I think that's why Chum Lee isn't in these conversations.
Yeah. And it makes sense. I
Like
mean, that's inflated
you
statistic is because of those attempts for sure right there. And then on top of that, I mean, he's still throwing a high number of picks, which is going to happen if you throw the ball more, right? But where he's
Yeah, but
losing and
that's what
not
I'm saying.
jumping
Like
up
you
in
you
it
give
is
you
here
give
though.
Devin Wade that amount of attempts. You give Gannon that amount of attempts.
Oh
Like
yeah. It'd be over. But then look at this. This is where he's also because his 32 touchdowns is literally just that 32 touchdowns.
yeah,
He
he
does
doesn't run the
not
ball.
contribute with any other way. He scrambled from time to time. He's only got 27 rushing yards though on the season. So yeah, he is no dual threat factor in terms of putting points on the board, but he's really good at throwing it in. And of course, you go back to um, his running back, who's really been the scoring guy, the finishing player when it comes to getting down on the goal line. And despite him not even
Levi
having a good
Dixon.
good season
Yeah, for that
statistically,
one, just go to the statistics page on the team page.
yeah. And you get a look at his career. Yeah, and he still doesn't even have 1,000 yards,
So Levi
3.46.
has a real. So I think Bulls running back David Jones, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's done it before. I think Levi Dixon, as long as Roland stays the coach, has a real shot in the next couple years to be a thousand yard back, 1,000 rushing, 1,000 receiving.
Oh yeah,
I think David Jones is the only other person to do that. I might be wrong.
but I don't think any player's ever done that because I don't remember any running back ever getting 1,000 yards receiving in the league. That's the only thing.
Did
I
he
have to
do
go
it?
back. I don't think he
I
did.
thought David Jones did it the year he won running back of the year.
We're gonna have to check. Yeah, because I mean, if so, I would believe it. But yeah, we're gonna have to check that. Um,
But I
yeah, he
obviously
got
he's
shot.
about 150 away on each of them here.
Mm-hmm.
So
And he's gonna have to do that against the Hawks defense, which is gonna be extremely tough. So I don't think he
I mean,
accomplishes that
I don't
feat,
think he's
but
going to do it this year. I just think he has a real shot in the coming years to be a guy who does that.
yeah. But I mean, look at this, man. 13 rushing touchdowns. I mean, this guy was automatic from the goal line.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously showing he could catch. Dude was a beast at USC. Um, it's good to see Roland utilizing this dude because that was one of the things I talked about when I gave him the opportunity to coach again and with the Dillos. I was like, hey man, just make sure you keep Levi Dixon and develop him right. And he's done a great job. He got him up to an 82. He's handling his business. The average might not be there, but I kind of chalk that up to the offensive line because um, he contributes. He definitely contributes when they give him the lane. So that's all I could say there. But that's it for the ARC. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the minors. Anything you want to say about the minors?
Um, I think this is Miles' second year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just a little bit of sophomore slump.
Yeah, that's a big thing
It
definitely this
doesn't
season.
help that you have the Aviators starting 6-0, and then the Red Dragons winning 8 straight.
Yeah,
But especially in the beginning, Monty had this issue, Leo Moon had this issue, a lot of young quarterbacks had this issue. They were getting sacked a lot.
yeah, he's been sacked 61 times. That's a lot.
So and
But
obviously,
18
and then
picks?
he
Jeez.
so it's just sophomore slump. Now they're still in the position because Oskin is a good quarterback. They have a good team around him. He just, I mean, you take away 4 of those interceptions, had 4 touchdowns, they might have already been clinched a spot.
Yeah. And where he really was killing was he won a decent amount of game towards the back half of the season from this right here, rushing touchdowns. It was 2 weeks back to back where he had 3 rushing touchdowns, which was crazy. Only 6
Yeah.
touchdowns in 2 weeks is wild. Um, and I think you go look at the game log. It's not too long ago. It's like, where's that? We got right here. Yeah, week 10 and week 11 against the Voyagers and against the Aviators. And then there was one, I think it was this one right here. Yeah, this game right here with the Crusaders was wild because that was a crazy shootout. Literally, the final seconds ran off the clock, and the dude scrambles at the goal line, wins the game by a point, 49-48. Definitely candidate for best game of the year. We got a couple of those this season. And
Yeah,
yeah,
for
like
sure.
he's done his he definitely has done what he could, but those turnovers definitely is, like you said, is what hurt him. You see a 4 interception
So
game
he's
right
backing
here.
up.
Yeah, multiple 3 interception games at the least right here. Red Dragons and the Crusaders. Yeah, that's really what hurt them. But all right, so let's go ahead and get a look and talk about the NRC side of things division wise. How about the NRC South, man? The Lumberjacks winning the division. Explorers. I still will say this just to get it out there. If the Explorers do not get injured early on, I think they're a playoff team for sure. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
losing Daryl Johnson what week 2 and then going
and
0 and
DeMarco
4
Lando.
afterwards into Marco Landa. Like
Yeah,
they even go 2 and 2 in that situation. They've clinched a playoff spot already.
yeah. So that really hurt them, and you can see, despite the struggles, the offense is still top 10 in points, and of course, as an offense, eighth in running and rushing, and 11th in passing. And one area that really has hurt them has been their defense, but they also did make a trade, getting rid of Henry Dockett, which I do feel has affected them. But honestly, was it too bad? Because I saw Culver come in and make some key plays, interception first game. The pick six had 2 picks in the game. So the defense as a whole, I just think did not play to its known standards, and that's really
Yeah,
what
well,
hurt
because
them.
if you, I've gone and looked, the Explorers are actually second last in sacks this year, which is not their MO whatsoever.
Yeah. So that's tough. The pass rush just wasn't there for him. And this was the stretch right here that really cost him that
Mm.
we're talking
And it
about here.
doesn't help that it was against number 1 seed, the division winner, and then another playoff team
Yeah. They got hurt in this game. Both of those guys got hurt
against
in
the.
this game.
I thought he got hurt against the Steamers and then missed the next 3.
Nah, he played this game. Steamers beat them
Here,
fair and
click
square.
on that game against on the side there. So go back and then click on the score.
Click on this.
Yeah, and then scroll down to player.
Yeah, Dale
Okay, so yeah,
Johnson
he did
played
play
that.
that game.
Yeah, he got
Okay,
injured in the Desperados game. He played in that game and got injured, like I think in sometime in the first half, of course. And that's when the game just got ugly.
yeah,
Yeah, you see right here, Daryl Johnson. He was
only
13 and
17
17 at
pounds.
that point. Yeah. And once he got hurt, that was it. Marquise Washington was able to lead them to the dub. It got ugly because I think, yeah, well, where were the turnovers coming from? Yeah, he was getting sacked. Did they have any years? Yeah, they have
Fumbles.
some.
Togway fumbled.
Yeah, Tagway fumbled. CJ Robinson fumbled. Uh
So
yeah, so that those turnovers that towards the end just really started getting them, and that's when things just got ugly. Even though like they would have been out of the conversation also if it wasn't for Everett Bradley coming through in at least one game, which was this game right here in the the Bulldogs game. Cause and this is a killer for the Bulldogs too. This is a game that they should have won. Honestly, there was no Daryl Johnson involved, but this was the Timmy turnovers performance, man. And those two
yep.
picks were crucial. They could have won that game, and he just was not performing well at all. Um, and we saw Everett Bradley do his thing, 2 touchdowns, minimal, turnovers, got an interception, but did his thing, man. C.J. Robinson's got fed the ball, scored. Jeffries did. That made a huge difference. So that was a big game to keep them in in the conversation that they're in right now. And that was, of course, the game of the week in week 6.
But for the rest of the North, I think the Gunners and Barons about what I expected.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
and
I
then
actually expected the Barons to be a little better. Uh, and Brinker just did not pan out accuracy wise. I wanted this offense to be more of a, hey, air it out. You got good receivers. You know what I'm saying? He just wasn't hitting. He was missing a lot of wide open touchdowns. I'd say they could have at least won 4 more of their games, to be in my opinion, if Brinker was,
Or more.
connected. Yeah, I really do.
So you think the Barons should be like the 7 seed right now? They're that good?
Yeah, I think they would be around there for sure. Because let's go look at this. Because of course, I'm trying to remember which week that Dorian's finally started, but it was early on. They had some tough games, but I like looking at this. They could have beat them. I think they could have beat the Desperados too. To be honest, they could have beat Louisville. In those moments, it was just so many missed opportunities. And shoot, Q was probably in the chat and could tell you, Barons who've watched the games. I mean, we were hoping Dorian would come in and try to do something, but he's still a rookie, so it didn't pan out. If Brinker had just been able to connect on a lot of those opportunities, man, they could have at least won 4 games, in my opinion. Like they could have beat the Gunners twice, for sure. Everything else, yeah, I'm seeing 4 games here that they could have won. 5, really. And this got ugly. They couldn't score.
That one did get ugly.
You said what?
That did get ugly. But go ahead and
Yeah.
click on Louisville right there.
This one?
Is that yeah? Well, not the score, but the team.
Oh,
Because that's the real story of the North this year is
yeah.
a one Jordan Granger.
Yeah, you want to get on Jordan Granger or just
Just, I mean, he's the reason they are where they are.
yeah.
If they start Trey Mason, I think the Explorers are winning this division at 9-8.
Yeah. Look at this
So I mean,
these statistics here. 9 rushing touchdowns, 25 touchdown passes. He would have to throw 5 touchdown passes though to get the XP boost that is awaiting him. But who's he playing this
are the
week?
Lumberjacks playing their starters if they're locked into third?
Yeah, they're not. It's not worth the risk either. So I wouldn't do it. I don't think I'm gonna play them.
But
Yeah. But I mean, look at that. I mean,
yeah, it's just
4,400 passing yards.
the only thing that sucks is that normally you would say that this guy one of the best rookie seasons ever, but then you realize in the RFL, Gannon's rookie season, he won MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Quarterback of the Year, all that stuff. And then Daryl Johnson's rookie year, he wins the Relo Bowl. And then Anthony Savoy's rookie year, he wins the Relo Bowl.
Yeah, rookies have come in and snapped at this position for sure, and he's got a shot too. I mean, can't sleep on the Lumberjacks, man. I was high on them coming into the season. Defense
It just sucks
came
that
gave me some scares. Mm,
right now, you can only say this is at best the 4th best rookie season ever. And he's
yeah,
doing everything he's doing.
yeah, which is crazy because Daryl Johnson's season, he was literally second in running for MVP behind Jabri Jackson's crazy year in season 7.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you look at these statistical performances, man. He's been back and forth in the race for for quarterback of the year in the conference, which is just crazy. Yeah, 4 touchdown games, multiple touchdown games here, man. He's just done a great job coming in. I expected him to be a good player too, but I did not think he was going to be performing on this level, So that's great to see, man. He's in the 83 already. 83 already, man. And that's going to go up because clearly he's
He
going
should
to win
win
Offensive Rookie of the Year.
the rookie. Yep.
Yeah.
Get at least one.
Yeah, and he's going to still have postseason play. So, yeah, you can see this guy being like an 85 to 86 by the end of the year after a rookie season, which is just wild. I would like to also, since we're talking about this division, still highlight Tyon because he has had some games. Now
I didn't
here
realize
is
he's been playing for so long that he passed Jabri in passing yards.
yeah, yep, he's able to pass some passing yards. Now he's definitely started out with some picks. Now, don't get me wrong, but he at least
He's
passed
still
them.
young. He's a rookie.
Yeah, at first he was like one touchdown and like 4 or 6 interceptions. I was like, daggone Tyon. But Yeah, he's caught up and he's caught his stride too, because he got 2 rushing touchdowns, whatever, right there, 2,500 passing yards, solid. But it's the wins he got, because week 9 finally got to play, lost his first game against the Elks in bad fashion. So he's like, oh man, well, can't be too shocked. But this right here, this was a game I still got to bell the Explorers because they had it and literally just folded, man. Final
That
quarter.
was the Hail Mary pass interference game.
Yeah, which is just crazy, bro. And yeah, so they definitely lost that, but Tyon still performed pretty good in this game. I mean, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Black Knight came into town, beat him, boom. 3-game losing streak, but he went on a 3-game winning streak against 2 solid teams, I'd say, right? And got vengeance against the Barons. He lost to the Barons, came back, beat the Barons in a close game, beat the Dreadnoughts, which is the game you talked about earlier, and then
Mhm.
this one right here, completing a sweep against the Explorers. That's huge. Next time he had them too, not a single interception, 2 touchdowns,
I mean,
325 passing yards. His
there's
best game.
there's if the Explorers lose, Keon kept them out of the playoffs, or Tyon, I mean.
Yeah, yeah. That's a 3 total touchdowns in that game with no picks. He ran one in, threw 2, no interceptions, had his best game passing against the Explorers. And he almost was able to defeat the Thunderbirds. He did pretty okay there. He did have the interception, which really hurt him. But he ran one in too, so 2 touchdowns to 1.
Yeah.
So I definitely see a bright future for Tyon here with Baltimore. 78 overall. Was he 75? I think he was
He started at
75 coming
75.
in, 74, something like that, coming in as a rookie. So yeah, he still got some development and stuff to do, but I like what I've seen so far, man. He's done a great job. I think is he even? I think he's, yeah, record wise he's 50-50. 4 wins, I think, 4 losses. So he's doing his thing. Actually, he might be over. But if not getting anything, New York really ain't too much to say. Can't really get into Dorian really too much either, but they did beat the
Can't
Explorers
be
in a
over.
big
They only
fashion.
got 5 total.
Yeah. So we'll just move on to the South, your division. Man, what's your thoughts on your division, man? How about the Desperados
My thoughts
just
for my
continuing to do what
division
they're doing, man?
is that it's the Desperados again. I've been here for 4 years now, and I have 3 seasons, or my first year here, I went 14-2, and
Mhm.
then did not win the division because the Desperados went 15-1. My second year here was when I got McCafton. I missed the playoffs. This, that, and the other. My third year here, I finally won the division. I went 14-3 again. And then the Desperados are 2 of my 3 losses. And then I get to this year, again, I'm double digit win team, but the Desperados are like, nah, we're gonna be the 1 seed again. And they do it every year with this 82, 83, 84 overall team, and they're like, yeah, none of our receivers are over 90 speed, but we're still gonna give you 400 through the air.
Yeah. Oh, and then
Like, they
yeah,
just
Tyon was a 69.
something
Yeah.
about the Desperados just work. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but it does.
Yeah, man. And that combination of Hall and Washington panned out to be magical, as Rob was agreeing. He said, hey, this team's gonna be great. I didn't think they were gonna I still felt like there's gonna be some piece. I didn't know what to expect from the season anyway, but this is really what's crazy about the Desperados, bro. Top 3 offense at 3 and the number 1 best defense in the league. Like,
Mhm.
look at this depth chart. If we're looking at this, where is that? D line. Okay, they got some pretty good D linemen here. And Gage, Conley. Then these guys are young. Gage is getting up there, but he's still a beast as an X factor D tackle. Don't have abilities though, but good D line right there. These guys are sneaky good. They got Juan Crosby
Yeah.
here, 84. But this right here is where they lack their linebackers. But these linebackers actually play better than these overalls would say. I know Thurl Leanne, he's one of those old vets. He may be a 75, but I'm pretty sure he got still got some crazy attributes from when he was good still around. I'm not really even seeing him though, to be honest. So dude was just balling.
Yeah,
Um,
they just work. They just make plays. They go do the thing.
yeah, Tom Brow's a beast at safety.
I
These
mean, this
corners ain't really nothing special, but I mean they've jumped though, man. They've played so well that their young guys got a lot of XP and were able to get like 4 XP points. Like
yeah,
Curtis
this
Hill jumped, Deion Fox jumped. This guy was like a 73, 72. Man,
yeah, but this is when we go back to the playoffs because their base talent is so low. It's
mm,
why I think they fall off in the playoffs all the time.
yeah, because it gets real in the
They always
playoffs.
kill the regular season, they get there, and then they get smacked.
Yeah, this is just great. Number 1 rush defense, number 5 pass defense. Now, if they could keep this up though, um, this is giving me like literally last season Black Knights vibes. Because the Black Knights defense, and they're still
Yeah.
doing it again, is just like if this can happen and you got Marquise Washington on his day, like, man, that could be dangerous. Like we could look at the Desperados finally pulling something through. But again, you look at all the other great teams that are around in that conference. Talk about your team, the Diablos. The Steamers might get in the fold now. Most likely, they got the destiny in their hands. And the Snowhawks, those are still 3 very tough teams to get it done against. So we'll see if they're worthy of it. If they can finally break the get past the hump. But yeah, and the
For
Thunderbirds,
the rest of
man.
this, yeah, I definitely I thought this division race. I didn't think the Desperados were going to be bad, but I definitely thought I was going to be fighting with the Thunderbirds to win the division.
Yeah.
But
And
it's been LC3. He's just been super inconsistent.
yeah, and I definitely put half the blame of that on him, but the other half definitely has to go to receivers, man. I've seen multiple games of his where dudes just were not getting open. And what shocked me the most is the downgraded play of London Lions, man. Let's get a look at him statistically and what he's done. Um, Now he's been starting all season long. Um, has he come through and made some clutch catches at times? Yes, but that's it. Maybe 1, 2 in a game for a first down with less than 10 yards needed. But I did not think his fall off was going to be this bad. Like he has not had a 100-yard game the entire season as a starter, and
It
he
was like
just
his highest is 67.
yes, highest was 67 against the Explorer. No,
Is that
68
68 above it?
against the Hogs. And I mean,
Four total
granted, he was
touchdowns.
catching what was thrown to him. He's only had 1 drop this season, but
Yeah,
that's
just
telling
not
me
getting
right
open.
there he's not getting open. Like, how do you have only 1 drop every time you've been targeted, and you don't have even 70 yards? That's just crazy. And they just we already know Shark was, he's a young developing receiver. He's still waiting on his route run to get developed, even though it's pretty good. But it's just like, and then you look at the games they lost and won, right? Literally every game except for the last one against you guys, they lost by 7 or less points.
Yep.
Like that's literally this is a whole different ball game if they win just one of these games. They ended up getting swept by the Desperados, losing that by just 6 points. The other game against them lost by 3, just crazy. Uh, Understandable right here. The Steamers, great team, 6 point loss right there. 3 point loss in overtime against the Hogs. I remember that one. This 1 point loss to the Miners were crucial because this turnovers, I would definitely say, were still huge for LC3, despite it not even just interceptions, just fumbles. Because he had to, it seemed like he had to keep trying to create plays himself because nobody was getting open. And his problem was he wasn't sliding. So he was getting popped and just losing the ball. And that happened in this game. And it's crazy. Crazy. They just that literally 1 point. They had the lead late in that game, and that fumble definitely was would cost them. Um let's go get a look at LC3 individually. Oh yeah, he's right here. Yeah, just looking at what he what he's done so far individually here, most interceptions he's thrown in the
Interceptions,
game
yeah.
has been two. But again, you add those fumbles. How many fumbles? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine fumbles of him trying to create plays. Nine fumbles. And the picks definitely but you see you look at these touchdowns, he's not getting more than two. Okay, a couple games, the one time he gets two, they win against y'all, gets two, he has two picks.
Here, click on his career stats real quick. Do he have more turnovers than? Yeah, he has more turnovers than touchdowns.
Yeah, where's the let's see, fumbles. Nine fumbles. Yeah, definitely.
25 fumbles to 23 touchdowns.
Yeah, 25 turnovers to yep, 23 touchdowns. So that's definitely, I think that this extension of the play scrambling has really definitely hurt him too. The picks, the passing game, it's just been, man, rough. Uh and he's just now about to touch 4,000, which is still, I mean, and look at the percentage though. This is also what's telling me it's the receivers. It's like if they're there, he's hitting them. He's 70%. He at one point for like the last 2 weeks, he was literally like 73% completing most of his passes, and still up there with interceptions. So it's just like, man. Now he's had a couple throws where I've seen dudes wide open, he missed it and it got picked off, and I'm like, yeah, that's your fault, bud. So I'm definitely putting 50-50, but I wouldn't say all the offense is his fault, man. And it's been like this for some years now for the Thunderbirds, to be honest. But yeah, that's all I can say about the Thunderbirds, which is crazy. They still have a shot. They still have a shot, which we went over. So Tampa Bay, they got great talent, but yeah, Kai
And
Cash, his turnovers. We talk about
I just
turnovers
I
are
feel
bad.
like the Tigers are a team we always say they're 1 year away. 1 year away. Next year's their year. Next year, like I feel like they have the talent to do it, but it's just not coming together.
Yeah, a lot of games they could have got to, but again, I just think this is just one of those bad years for Kai. 17 picks, I think that leads the RFL. Well, actually, no, Miles McCain does, but he's second,
But I
17.
feel what you feel about the Barons is kind of how I feel about the Tigers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely could see that. Because I definitely feel like they could have won more games, but it literally came down to those turnovers, and it's like I can't. Their receivers are kind of look at the depth chart here. Their receivers kind of going through the same thing.
Yeah, they're not the
Luzon
best.
was doing all right at times. Stanley Kifford was balling now though. Don't get me wrong, he was balling. But the rest of these receivers, they just weren't it, man. Yeah, they weren't it. And Kai Cash, again, he just had a rough year with turnovers with those picks. But he's only 22, man. You know, you look at this team. Uh, Drake Sandstrom's going to be a dog. He's only 22. He's going to be 23 next year. He's already 81 with star dev, and he's a great running and receiving threat. So they got their running back. They got their quarterback. Still believe in Kai. They got their tight end because even though Joey Lott is here as a higher overall, I mean Xan Nasir has been a starter. He's an 84 and he's a beast. So you got your tight end, your receiver. You already got Carlos Luzon here, who I think he showed flashes. He had some great plays still. For the Tigers. Stanley Kemper's about to be out the building, so they're going to need a receiver for sure out the draft. The line is great when you talk about youth. I mean, look at this,
That
89,
that is
24,
one thing
24.
that Stein did before he left. That he built them a line.
Yeah, he built them an incredible line. That right there is, these guys are going to have the best line in the league very soon, if not already. Um, and then you look at the defense. The D tackle, boom, Moore, 86. He's 24. Okay, now Dwight Northrup is getting old, but they got Isaiah Mosley, who's really fast as a D, and young at 24. You got Rucker, who's almost at 80 at 22. Like this is scary, right? They might not have clicked it today. Then Jocko Goliath's only 23. I don't know why I thought he was older than that. So wow, like they've got youth here to compete for a minute. I still think this secondary just now started to get better because this was their top corner. They were getting cooked in the pass game. Not gonna lie. Um, that hurt them too. So I think once that starts to develop, because Craig Chapman's not going to be here more than likely. I mean, 34. That regression is going to kill him.
Yeah, he's gonna get hard.
Yeah, and Snead probably is not even going to be in the 80s when he hits 30 after this season. So they're going to need a cornerback really bad. We already know they got Mike Blunt, who's an 80 at 22. That's their top guy that's going to be there for the future. They got great safety right there. The free safety, he's 22 too. So their safety game, they're good, bro. They need very minimal areas, and they just need a good consistent season from Kai Cash. If he doesn't throw those picks, bro, they're a playoff team right now.
Um, anything you want to say about my team before we move on? I'm not really gonna.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So about your team now, your team has been great. I still think it's a great team, the best team statistically in the league, right? Um, of course, the issue has been consistency at the quarterback position, but it looks like it's been some more consistency in your
Yeah,
quarterback.
overall wise, we're
Yeah. So that's good. But I feel like your team can beat anybody. It's a matter
92.
of consistency. So once that consistency plays a factor, and we're getting that from we look at this depth chart, and we're getting that from this guy, because Lane Kearney now has been out and he's going to be gone. We already know about his situation. McAfton, if he comes in and he handles business, then that's good. Teams have found a way to slow down Madison Axel, I feel a little bit, but I mean the dude's still over 1,000 yards getting it done, so he's doing his thing. But the area, we talked about this, has been also this too, the receivers.
Yep.
So if they can become more of a factor, then I do think that this team definitely has what it takes to win it all. You know, and if we go back and look at your games, like literally the games you lost, like losing to the Tigers, the Barons, Thunderbirds is okay. I mean, it's the Thunderbirds. Then the Desperados putting on a beating like that, they just came out there. That's just one of your one bad games. You know what I mean? And you barely lost to the Red Dragons when they were hot, and you lost barely to Lumberjacks. But that's
Oh,
literally it. It's like
the
I feel like
Tigers game,
consistency is it, bro.
the second Tigers game, the one that I won, that's the game that McCaffrey got his first start.
Yeah. And look, took y'all 4 straight wins, lost in overtime, beat the Thunderbirds by a margin that no other team has this season, and then barely lost to the Lumberjacks. So, yeah, I think you got a squad for sure that can win it, this year. And it's all about, can we get these W performances in the postseason against the tough teams?
I'm looking for my
Tough teams you played.
first playoff win.
Yeah, tough teams you played. The Huskies, despite them not having a great season. I mean, these guys were up, had all those 24 points in the first half. Y'all came back on that. Beat
That's
the
about it.
Desperados when they were hot. Yeah, even though you lost to them, it's just yeah, that's kind of tough, man. We're gonna have to see how you stack
All
up
the hard games,
against.
but
Yeah, your hardest games are definitely going to
in
be in
the
the
end,
postseason. Yeah, and we'll see how you fare against the Explorers. That could be telling right there. This game this week definitely could be telling. So yeah, we just have to see more. You know what I mean? Like the schedule was
yeah,
not too crazy, and we have to just see like, okay, if you took those losses to those weaker end teams, how are you going to do against the Snowhawks? How are you going to do against the Steamers, who if they get hot
get the dub.
again, yeah, that's going to be tough, man. So I mean, I still, you did your thing. Your team did what they were expected to do with the schedule they had, you know,
Yeah,
and probably definitely should have had a better record in my opinion. But it's just like you just have some of those games where it's just like, man, have we really lost that? Everyone can say that just about this season. But
that's
yeah,
how Kearney
that's
ends up with the bench.
yeah. And so that's it for the South. East, and what a wild division this is. The Steamers, I ain't gonna lie, I wrote them off after a couple losses. I'm just like, man, Reed and sold the bag, and yet here they are leading the division. All they have to do is win, and they're in the playoffs somehow.
The Steamers are,
Crazy.
I would say, the Steamers are the equivalent of the Huskies from the ARC.
Yeah. And you know what's
Like
crazy? They
they
were running the
just
same offense too, and that book did the same thing for both of those teams.
like yeah, I'm just like I think I just view them as the same. Huskies, the Steamers just got lucky that none of the teams underneath them took advantage.
Yeah.
Whereas the Huskies got passed by the Pioneers and the Hogs.
Yeah. I mean, these were crucial wins right here because they almost lost New England. Almost lost that. And then this is the big win they needed, and they came up and showed out big time. Now, if they could do that again next week, that's all they need. And we already know the Condors aren't starting their guys, but I still wouldn't put nothing past any game when things are important. Just can't in this league because you could still lose the backups. We've seen it. So, yeah.
I think the biggest thing out of the East is the Marshals starting 0-8 and then having a 7-game win streak to not be eliminated until this last week.
Yeah, that was huge. You look at their schedule. Look at this. All red, all green, eliminated. And it had to be in a game that went all the way in overtime with a backup quarterback who threw an interception and
in the game.
In OT and lost. So I mean,
So
it literally
big.
started right here. Uh, what's it called? Darius became coach in this week right here, going up against Roland. Close game. Look at that. Lost by 7. Another close game, getting swept by the Shamrocks as a team. Same score, 21-24. And this is what sparked it. Beat the Steamers in a close game.
And if
All
you
their
look,
games were really close.
that goes week 8 to week 10. So Darius took full advantage of that bye week in between.
Yeah, definitely. That bye week looks like they made all the adjustments, and it was just like, you know what? Let's get it going. Boom, one there. Boom. I mean, they were beating good teams too. I mean, even though the Steamers were against the fence, it's still a good team, you know. At this time, the Dreadnoughts were a good team, and I know the Dreadnoughts wish they had that dub. The close game against the Sentinels, but edged it out. Close game against the Tigers, edged it out. This game was really close, edged it out. Beat the crap out the Crusaders and beat the Voyagers. And so, like this was such a hot streak. But again, what gets me about this team too is that they've always had it and were right there, but they just couldn't finish. And it's like after that bye week, they learned to finish. Because look at this game, lost by 3. That game they got blown out.
Don't look at that one.
Yeah, let's skip that one. That never happened. 10 game losing streak right there. 10-point lost game to the same team right there. It was close. Another 10-point game, close. 3-point game, close. 3-point game, close. 7-point game against the number 1 team in the league at that time, still close. And then a 3-point game right there. So, bro, they could have won 5 of these games.
Like just looking at this, Marshall season. I mean, obviously we know that they were just eliminated. But realistically, the Marshall season ended in week 8. Because if you look at that, I remember messaging Hodge at the time. Losing that week 8 matchup made them 0-5 in the division.
Yeah.
They already played all. They've played 5 division games in the first 8 weeks and lost all of them.
Yeah. That was rough, man. And like I said, they weren't putting up points until that Crusaders thing really did them in. But like every game they were close, man. Like this is a team that was grinding from start to finish and found out midway how to finish.
This was basically the opposite of the Hogs.
Yeah, definitely.
Where the Hogs were winning every game by 3, they were losing every game by 3.
Yeah. So it's tough, but as many are saying, I cannot wait till next season to see what happens and see if Hodge can keep that up, man. Because I mean, this is a great team. It was a good team on paper.
Yep.
Even coming into the season, looked like they could have been a playoff team, and like I said, they were in every game, just fell short.
So what Coach
Any of
Ramos
those
said.
games, other than yeah, they only had one blow. That one blowout game is the only game that they lost by lost by more than 10 points.
And that's all Coach Ramos came in here to do is to ruin the Marshall season before it even started.
Yeah,
Came in, swept the Marshall, said I'm out.
yeah, dude got the job done. I guess, man, made a trade, got our old boy from the Cougars. Yeah, and Leo Moon. I look at how what's his name? Hodge talked a lot about his turnaround. Let's go to the game log because in
Yeah,
those
so he
losses,
he threw 8 interceptions in like the first 7 weeks, and then only threw one since.
yeah. So it was two here. So with Hodge, three of those interceptions came, and those were in 2 games. Without Hodge, one, two, three, four, five, and then the touchdown ratio went up. Or you got 6 right there, no picks, one with 1 pick, and then 3. So definitely was able to boost up his production. And did he run some in? Yeah, he ran some in too. I think he had all rushing touchdowns with Hodge, which was 3 of them. So I mean, yeah, his game definitely elevated, and that made a huge difference. And then you see right here, this kind of hurt him too. Torn labrum, 3 weeks.
Yeah, hurt.
Yeah. I think this thing froze. It's not going on. Okay. Okay. So I don't think there's anything we can say about New England. Really, it's just they beat some
Both
teams.
Boston and Monarchs just kind of finished where they always do.
Yeah. Well, Shamrock kind of shocked us, but then they had the division and then they just started losing games. So yeah, we're not really too much to talk about. So we'll get into the last division here, which is the West, the only division to stay the same, and
I think
literally stay
the
the
only
same.
shocking thing here is the Crusaders.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know. I mean, I always felt like the way that this division standings is right now is kind of like how it is, because it's always been the Snowhawks, Condors, Crusaders come after that most of the times. It's like usually the Crusaders are like kind of neck and neck with the Condors, but the Condors are slightly better. And then the Snowhawks should be winning the division, which they weren't, but now they're getting it done. And the Elks
The
always
Seahawks
been
was the
last.
team who it would be like a different team every year. One year it was the Elks, one year it was the Condors. They always end up going like 12-4.
Mhm.
But then one of the other teams were like, "We're gonna be slightly better than you this year."
Yeah, yeah. So
'Cause I think even the year they went to the Reload Bowl, the Elks won
yeah, they won that
the division
division.
that year.
Yeah. Which again, if you inflate that, I mean, it was still an under par season, for the Snowhawks, which we were seeing that Joseph Gidley, he was just having a turnover problem, and those
Yeah, especially
turnovers,
last year.
yeah, that a couple seasons that happened, and that made the difference. But now he's found his groove, and you're looking at how he looked in those earlier seasons, and boy, that made a difference. And so with him doing that, I mean, rightfully so, they lead the division. But then again, that shows you how close still the Condors are. They still were able to keep up just about neck and neck with them. And Chase McCoy is on fire. And it's crazy thinking about back in the day with the Condors, one of the biggest knocks on them was their defense. And they drafted
Yeah,
and got
I
some
think the
young
West is
guys.
just how the
When you say
yeah.
you cut out,
Oh, I said the West is just how the West always is.
yeah, nothing really changed here at all. Not really too much to talk about. No shocks at all. So yeah, that's a deep dive into each team, the divisions, and what we think, the playoffs, and all that. Um, so yeah, we've had this screen up for a minute. Again, if you want to have access to this, scan this code right here, and you will be able to have access to the RFL Neon Sports. Just make sure you request to have that access, and I will accept it as soon as I'm able, so that way you can see it. All right. So went through all of that. Let me see if I can get this one off. I don't know why this is still up. I can't even click on it. I think that is it. Yeah, okay. Get that off. So let's go ahead and get a look at the uh top 10 power rankings now. So this is how it is gone. Man, shout out to all the guys who were doing great in the prior weeks. Unfortunately, haven't had a podcast till now. So still shout out to
Yeah,
Roland.
yeah,
Roland, you had a great
yeah, yeah.
Roland had a great season. Even Forbes involved because now he's not even in the top 10. And Hodge, even though he wouldn't have been on the top 10 here anyway, I mean, he went on that crazy, was it 8 game win streak or 7? I think it was
7.
8. 7? Okay. Yeah, 7 game win streak. So, yeah, man, sorry for that, but we had to get right. I had to make sure I did the podcast now. Um, at least before the postseason. I hope that I could keep this up for the postseason. I'm gonna definitely try my best. Schooling has gotten a little bit lighter in terms of the test. I feel like I can manage those and still do this and make the graphics and stuff for it. Hopefully, we get that going and keep Forbes on it with us, because it's been great, having and getting this done, and hearing his side of things and knowing he's been definitely keeping up with this stuff. But here's your top 10. Snowhawks, number 1 team in the league now, moving up 2 spaces. The Armadillos fall to number 2. Desperados at 3. Red Dragons 4. Condors 5. Bulls 6. Celtic Tigers 7. Black Knights 8. Lumberjacks 9. And the Aviators have dropped 6 spots, just hanging on at number 10. These are the new top 10 power rankings. So, I mean, not really too much to say, but any thoughts on these power rankings here, Forbes, other than your team just falling off?
Um, I'd probably be obviously I'd put myself back at 10. Obviously. Other than that, I mean, I think it's the same teams I'd have. I just think I'd have them ordered a little differently.
Okay. Well, if you had to go with your top 10, what would your top 10 be in the league?
I think Red Dragons would jump to 2. Armadillos, Desperados would drop down 1 each, and then the Bulls and Celtic Tigers would jump the Condors. So the Condors would drop to 7, Celtic Tigers 6, Bulls 5. Other than that, I think that's about the biggest changes.
Okay. Interesting. That's why I'm glad I don't come up with these anymore. So, like, guys can have a take on what something else came up with. That's why I usually exclude myself. Be like, hey, I want you guys to have a take, and I had nothing to do with it. Boom. And so, yeah, that's your top 10. That'll get posted up soon. And now we are going to go into the games this week. So, tomorrow, Forbes, we're in Mexico City, man. And it's your game against the Explorers. Forbes has a chance to make the Explorers finally feel what every other team has felt and throughout their franchise, and that's what it's like to miss a postseason. The Explorers are the only team in RFL history that has never not made the playoffs. Best believe they're going to be bringing their A game. They're getting 3 players back that were injured. I know one of the DNs is coming back. I'm blanking on his name, but some key players for sure. So this is going to be a matchup you don't want to miss. Forbes is playing his guys. Of course, you're going with your team here in this one. And honestly, with how things have looked for the Explorers, losing 2 games, I did not expect them to lose in the Barons and the Gunners. I just can't side with them in this matchup, especially if you're going full tilt. But what is your mindset going into this game? Like, what are the key factors for you to get the job done and things like that
So,
you're willing to share?
like I said, this is my 4th year here, and I've never beaten Bill.
Oh man,
I lost, so I think I'm 0-2 against him in the regular season, and then 0-1 in the playoffs.
tough.
So obviously, I got my team, one of my guys, but it would just be really feel really good to say that if that after I beat the Explorers, right, and the Explorers missed the playoffs, that they missed because of McGaston, as Bill would like to call him.
Oh, hey, that I completely forgot about that, bro. That would be wow. What a full circle moment. Like the
Bill,
same
anyway.
guy you named that comes back and knocks you out the playoffs for the first time ever. That's wild. So we'll see if that happens. That's definitely be the talking point. Rob, you'll be calling that one, so make sure to remember that part. Ken Mick, I ain't saying it because Ken McButston, I'll say, finish the Explorers, man, and get back and even on Bill. That'd be crazy. Um,
It's okay if I jinx myself, Pat. I'm luckily for me, I'm already clinched into the spot. Whether I win or lose, I'm going.
yeah. So he's going full tilt. I didn't mean to yawn, but got to that moment. The Hogs and the Armadillos. Um, big game, big live game. Rob will be calling that one too. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Armadillos, Hogs. Hogs have to win this to have a chance. Armadillos are not sitting there, guys. Let me go ahead and pull up my spreads here on the phone because I know I got those already up on Neon. There's a couple games I did not, but I guess I'll just yell out what I would have had the spreads as. But I have the Armadillos knocking the Hogs out by 5 or more points. Do you think they get it done, or will the Hogs keep their chances alive?
If the Armadillos play anything like they did last week, I don't think they do it. I'm definitely not taking the spread. The Hogs just don't lose by more than 3. That's like their entire thing.
Hmm.
Um, I think I am gonna have to take Chumlee over Ronnie Shanahan is when it comes down to me.
Okay, and I'll be in the booth at 9 p.m. Eastern for another game that could put a team in the postseason if they get the win. It's been speculations. Coach Dunn's been waiting for. Killian's been waiting for, trying to figure out are the Bulls going to play their starters. The answer is yes. So they're going to have to beat a fully powered Bulls team, and the main reason why is because the Celtic Tigers won last week. If they had lost, then they would have sat their guys. But now the Bulls can't afford to lose this game and not win the division. So and have that home field advantage. So they have to play their guys, and the Miners have to be willing and ready to beat them. And with that, I have the Bulls favored to win by a field goal. Got the boo coming in from Killian. Yeah, I would have sat him though, man. It's just the Celtic Tigers are 11-5, and so are the Bulls, and the Bulls swept them, so they have to the win. You know, so
And that's this is a tough one.
that is tough.
I think this game, obviously every game has a lot of factors. I think this game's going to come down to Miles McCain. I think the Miners have the defense to keep them in the game. You know, Killian put in the Discord earlier today that he's had a 20 sack season. He's
Fire
currently third in the league in sacks. He's got 20. He's been killing it.
beast.
But so have the Bulls.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm gonna rock my guys Miles and Killian, and I'm gonna take the Miners.
All right, got the Miners come out victorious. Those are the first 3 live games of the final week of the season. Then we get into premieres, 4 p.m. Eastern, Huskies versus Cougars. Last time they met, the Cougars upset the Huskies and beat them. I think it was 16-26. But I do have the Huskies getting back and splitting with the Cougars, despite them having a home field advantage. And I actually got the spread pretty high just based off of how we've seen the Cougars play these last couple of weeks. They've been getting beat down. I mean, 40-3 to the Desperados just this past week was monstrous. And so I got the Huskies by a touchdown or more.
Yeah, I think I'll take the Huskies in the spread with that. I mean, the Cougars haven't shown you anything all reason, haven't shown you any reason all season
Yeah.
to say otherwise.
It's crazy because I look back at what the original schedule was. This was supposed to be the game of the week at this point. Now it's like neither one of these guys making the playoffs, and the other one's literally the first overall draft pick, which is crazy how things can change like that. Bisons and the Snowhawks. Snowhawks will not be playing their starters in that game, so they're going to be sitting and resting their guys. The main reason because of that is regardless of if they won or lost this game, it all depends on if the Desperados win or lose. So if the Desperados win, the Snowhawks are going to lose the number one spot anyway. If the Desperados lose, then the Snowhawks win and remain the number one seed. So since it doesn't matter, they're already in the playoffs. This is one of the few teams that gets to sit their guys. Bisons will be obviously starting their guys. I think my thing just froze. Yeah, there we go. Bisons obviously will be starting their guys. And let me see. Did I make a spread? Yeah, I still, this is crazy. I still got the Snowhawks winning with their backups, man. But the spread is 1.5.
If the Bisons are playing their guys, I'll go with the Bisons.
Yeah, so Bisons, please don't let that happen, man. JT's been actually playing pretty good the last like 5 to 6 weeks. Just haven't been able to come out on top. We'll see if it happens. Don't lose to the backups. Adding fuel to the fire with that spread right there. But the Monarchs and the Dreadnoughts, 6 p.m. Eastern. The Dreadnoughts, man, they just have not been playing good. Literally a 5-game losing streak. And the Monarchs just beat the Voyagers, which they just have that inconsistent either win or lose type deal. They definitely play pretty good against good competition, and when they play weaker competition, they just, I don't know, Steelers vibes. But I got the Monarchs winning by a field goal or more.
You got who winning by a field goal or more?
Monarchs.
I think the Dreadnoughts have a better team. I think Frankie needs a get right win before the season ends. I'm gonna take the Dreadnoughts.
All right. And then we have the Gunners and the Tigers. This is a good spot. We talked about this earlier. Both of these guys can shift their draft spot depending on who wins or loses. I have the Gunners beating the Tigers on the road in Tampa Bay by a field goal or more.
I'm gonna go with Kai Cash and the Tigers.
All right.
I like it.
And at 8 p.m. Eastern, Bulldogs versus Lumberjacks. As you said, the Lumberjacks, they're locked in at 3. They've already won their division. There's no way the Explorers can take it from them. There's no need to play the starters. Would I have played Jordan Granger? Probably to try to get the goals, but at the same time, he would need 5 touchdowns against the Bulldogs defense, which they've been playing awful the last couple of weeks. They've actually given up 5 touchdowns, or more than that, actually, within those 2 weeks. And so, I mean, a good opportunity maybe if they continue to play like that, but I just don't see it. With the starters not being there, I have the Bulldogs winning this one by 6 or more.
You are playing the Bulldogs starters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, there will be an official start. Tajay Gaddy will be the starting quarterback for the Bulldogs. So no Timmy Merritt.
Yeah, I mean if that's the only difference, but all the starters are resting for the Lumberjacks, I think it's pretty easily the Bulldogs.
Yeah. Okay. Then we have the Shamrocks and the Desperados. Big game. And at first I was thinking, okay, the Desperados definitely got this and they have the number one seed secure, but they don't. They got to win this game. So there is no sitting Marquise Washington and Tavion Hall and all those guys. And they got the home field advantage. If they want the number one seed, they got to beat the Shamrocks. So, yeah, did I put spreads? I think this is probably that one game that I didn't put spreads on. Oh, I did. I had, and this was because I thought I was going to bench Marquise Washington until later on. I think I'm gonna make this different. I had the Shamrocks winning by 5 or more points, but now that their starters is playing, I've got the Desperados winning by more than a touchdown.
I think I'd go with the Desperados, but not with the spread.
Yeah, my spread would probably been like 7.5. I'm thinking. Yeah. Marshalls and Elks. This is Thursday's premier game starting off. The Marshalls, had that streak, just came to an end against the current number one seed in the NRC. I think they definitely bounced back against the Elks, but hey, man, don't sleep on them because these guys almost took down the Celtic Tigers with Luke Poor, who came in just threw 3 touchdown passes in the first half. Dude was balling. So you never know what you're going to get, but the Marshalls, despite the loss, every other game, that win streak, everything going on, they should win this game. So I got them winning by 9 or more points, 8.5 spread.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Marshalls and Hodge and them.
All right, then the Thunderbirds and Barons. This is a chance for the Thunderbirds to make the playoffs with a losing record, which is crazy. Everything else working in their favor, so the biggest thing they have to do is win. If they beat the Barons, they got a good shot. That's all I could say. The Barons just came off a huge win, though, over the Explorers, so this team is hot right now. If they can put that together again, Thunderbirds could be in some trouble. I do have the Thunderbirds winning this one, but I have that also by the lowest spread by 1.5.
I think the Thunderbirds have to, man. Like, if they don't, I think that's just the perfect description of their season.
Yeah.
If they don't, this is you go back to last season, any other season before this isn't a question. No one's thinking about it. Everyone's like, oh yeah, Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
But the fact that you have the Thunderbirds versus the Barons as a 1 point spread, the Thunderbirds need to win.
Yeah. And that's it for the 4 p.m. premiere games on Thursday. Starting up to 6, we got the Voyagers and the Sentinels. The Sentinels beat them in that one game where the Voyagers tried to get too risky and they chanced it. And I do think that the Voyagers would have won that game had it gone into overtime. Here's a chance to get even, but they're on the road in Orlando. But I'm still going to take the Voyagers, man, despite how the season has been going for them. They're not going to have a winning season since they're 7-9, but at least they'll be within the game. I think they can beat the Sentinels, especially on the losing streak they've been on. So I got the Voyagers by 7.5. Yeah, the 7.5 spread, winning by 8.
Um, yeah, I mean, there's no reason to pick the Sentinels. They haven't shown us anything in 10 weeks to pick them, so
Yeah.
I'll go with the Voyagers.
All right, Red Dragons versus Crusaders. I mean, we already see what type of season the Crusaders been having, and what type of season, at least the last 8 games, the Red Dragons been having. They have a chance to end the season on a 9-game winning streak, and I think they should play their starters mainly because they have a shot at taking the number one seed. So maybe they could change their mind too, though, because we'll have to see. Depends on when it gets recorded, because if he doesn't record his game by Tuesday, he's not going to know. But if Roland wins, he doesn't have a shot at, the number one seed. So he might want to sit his guys. We don't know. Could be the starters, couldn't be. But I'll tell you what, if it's the starters, I got the Red Dragons. And that's the game I didn't make a spread for because I don't know. But if they do start, I got the Red Dragons by with a 7.5 spread, win by 8 or more than a touchdown.
Yeah, I think that's pretty easily the Red Dragons if they play their starters with how they've been playing.
Yeah. Without their starters, I still don't even know. So now Crusaders, they should win that, but it'd probably be like a 2.5 spread. Okay, this is a big game right here for the 8 p.m. We got the Black Knights and Celtic Tigers. Both teams have to play their starters. Like I said, we saw the Bulls. The Bulls, if they lose their game, then
Come steal the division.
yeah, they could take that division. Crazy thing is, though, again, it depends on where I get to in terms of recording. Because if they don't, then I really don't even want to risk the Celtic Tigers losing. Well, actually, they're already locked, aren't they?
Yeah, the Celtic Tigers are locked. The only reason the Celtic Tigers are playing their starters is because if the Bulls lose, the Celtic Tigers can steal the division.
Yeah. So
But
if
if
I
you don't
don't,
record this game until Wednesday,
yeah,
the Bulls win. There's no reason to play the Celtic Tigers
yeah.
starters.
So they might not have their starters. So with that being the case, um, I had the if the Celtic Tigers had their starters, I got the Celtic Tigers winning by 4 more points. Um, and as for the Black Knights, if they don't have their starters, I'm definitely going to pick the Black Knights. It would be interesting to see Polo though play. So he's a pretty good backup behind Justin Jones. We'll see what happens. Um, but yeah, that's the spreads I got. Who do you got winning that one?
Probably the same as you. If everyone's playing CT, if the backups are in the Black Knights.
All right. And another big game. This to solidify the Steamers on a comeback to clinch a playoff spot and win the division. And they are favored to win this one for sure because the Condors will not be starting their guys. And so this backups against the starting Steamers unit. And that should be a win all day, but you never know in the league. But I have the spread for the Steamers by 7 or more points.
Yeah, I think that's yeah, easy take right there.
And the last game is crazy. The final game, the hyped up, the game of the week. The final game includes the Pioneers. And they have the home field advantage against the Aviators in a game that could literally dictate who is making the playoffs and who's not. If the Pioneers win, they clinch the division for the first time and go to the playoffs for the first time in franchise history. If they lose, they got to hope that the Armadillos do their job and beat the Hogs. Because if they do, they're going to win regardless, win or lose. But this game is still important because the Aviators still aren't guaranteed a playoff spot. They really want to secure a playoff spot by beating the Pioneers. So if the Hogs do pull off that upset, this game is going to have so much weight to it because it's almost like, yo, the Pioneers will get eliminated if they don't win, and that'll just be a heartbreaker. Because you really would have thought this was the season, and of course, what happened last week with them losing to the Tigers by a point. So
Well then,
crazy.
Smitty, if you're gonna wait to record the Black Knight CT game, right?
Mm.
Say say
Well,
the Armadillos win. No, no, no.
yeah.
Yeah. Say the Armadillos win, and then the Bulls lose. Would you switch Black Knights and CT with Aviators Pioneers?
Um, Probably not, because I mean, it's still main reason too is because by that time when you see what happened with the Bulls, CT's not even playing their starters.
I'm saying if the Bulls lose, that
Oh,
means
if they
CT's
lose.
playing for the division now.
Oh.
That means the Pioneers have already clinched, and now CT's playing for the division. It's
Mm.
now the Miners need the Black Knights to lose so they can pass them too.
Miners need the Black Knights to lose. That could be a flex, man. So
But that's what I'm only asking that because you said you're going to wait to record it until after the Tuesday games.
no, I'm saying if I don't get to it, because
Okay.
tomorrow is a good day for me to because I haven't done any team training right now for CPU teams as I've been
Okay.
stacking up and doing this stuff. So tomorrow, actually tonight, I'm gonna try to see if I can knock out the trainings. So that way tomorrow I can get everything set up and start recording games, and I might just start knocking out those implication games first. Um, just to get them out the way to see what happens. But still, well, actually, yeah, I can't record the Celtic Tigers and Black Knights then until I see what happens on Tuesday. So I could probably look to try to save that game for last. And I still won't know even about the Aviators game, which is live, which is good, until Tuesday. So I probably would save the Black Knights Celtic Tigers game for that occasion then. And
Just in case it becomes more important.
yeah, just in case it becomes important. And if it does, then I'll make an announcement on the Switch there. Because
Yeah,
that
because
is
I
going
was
to be
only
crazy.
saying, like, because if
Yeah, cut out.
the Hogs lose, that means the Pioneers have already clinched. Knights to lose or win. So
Can you repeat it again? Yeah, I
both
cut you out.
Tuesday's outcomes affects those games.
You hear me, Forbes?
Yeah, what's up?
I said, can you repeat that? Because it cut you out.
Oh, yeah, because I'm saying if the Hogs lose, the Pioneers have already clinched.
Yeah.
If the Miners win,
But doesn't
it
that
means
affect the
Tigers are now
Aviators?
playing for the division, and the miners are waiting for the Black Knights outcome.
Okay, so what about the Aviators though? They're still not
Um,
locked.
they're still not locked, but now we're going with two teams that are fighting for something instead of just the Aviators.
Yeah, yeah, we'll do that. We'll see what happens. Because we talked about this earlier, but I don't. I guess I didn't fully understand what you meant. Because now it makes sense. So
Well, Pat, because that's real life with a bunch of actual living players that have day to day lives. This is one of the benefits of being in Madden.
yeah, not only that, I mean they're literally a day apart. It's Thursday and Friday, so it's an easy switch. Um, wouldn't make too much of a difference. Still going to see the games at the same time. So yeah, we could see what happens there. It'll just be an announcement on which game gets recorded or not. So yeah, man, that's oh yeah, who do you got winning that game between the Aviators and Pioneers?
I have the Aviators.
Yeah, I got the Aviators spread 3.5. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's it because we went over scenarios, did the top 10, did the schedule, did the playoff. So yeah, we hit every point. Is there anything you wanted to talk about that maybe we haven't covered?
Got the award leaders on there, but it's
Oh yeah, yeah,
already
yeah. Oh
11.
yeah. I know it's later. Let me just show those because I do have the game up. That's what I forgot to do.
Wait. So I do. I just got to. So one game has been played.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to the awards.
Okay, I just want to make sure before you pull it up on there,
Yeah.
and because I didn't know if you knew that or not yet. That at least one game had already been
Yeah,
played.
they had sent me, and I don't know why. Like, good you did it, but you didn't even know if your game was going to be a live game or not. So I don't know why they would do that, but I guess they had a pretty good indication that it wouldn't be. Good thing
I
it's
think they
not.
knew.
Yeah. But yeah, waiting for this file to load up, and then I'll make sure to show you guys that, and we'll end on the awards on how that's looking right now. And we'll just briefly go through that, looking at the top guys. Not going to go through all 10 in each award category. Let me make sure that this is it, though. Is it? It's not showing up for whatever reason. Okay, there it is. All right. Almost there. 84% game stuck for whatever reason. Come on. Bro, don't crash out literally at the final 16%. Come on. Okay, finally they got it through. Finish it. Had to load those last 5 teams. Got stuck on itself. Okay. Words. All right. Here we go. Go ahead. Mm. All right. Oh, they actually have that right there too. I didn't even know that. Actually, no, it's gone. Okay. Get rid of that. And this thing is not even loaded. Wow. Okay. Should be good. And here we go. Okay. So this is the current MVP race. We've got my face is blocking it. So let me get me out the way. So okay, wow, gone. Okay. This is the current MVP race. We've got the Bulls quarterback Devin Wade literally leading for MVP, man. So He is still on top with Anthony Savoy. And again, we talked about the main reason is though that in touchdown interception ratio. He's barely turned over the football, and Geno Gannon's right there. So it's a race between these three. Geno Gannon's literally a touchdown within Anthony Savoy, so he could be there. And then of course Wade is, if he plays his last game against the Miners and still has minimal turnovers and touchdowns, this is his award to win. Also the Red Dragons, if Savoy can have himself another crazy banger of a game, that could be in contention right here. And it's crazy to even think about. For it was like Geno Gannon was like for sure the guy we thought was going to get this, and then
Oh,
boom, he just looks like he's not even going to get it.
I mean, it should be Devin Wade's award to lose. I mean, we don't know what the Red Dragons are doing with their players, but
Yeah,
we'll see. All we know, the Miners are going to get 10 interceptions and flip the season.
yeah. And even though we don't got no in-game coach of the years and stuff like that, who I have as coach of the year right now, who's going to win it, even though we don't usually post or have done anything about that, I'm going to go back in the past and choose guys, but yeah, Roland definitely coach of the year. Definitely took this team that we didn't expect to be as good as they are, and made them the number one team in the conference right now. Could be in the league. Who knows? We'll see. But ARC Awards, Offensive Player of the Year, Devin Wade has even taken that award away from
Ooh,
Jordy Johnson. So this guy's got two awards in his hands
that I
right
don't
now.
agree with.
Yeah. I mean, that
What do
touchdown
you think?
interception ratio is that crazy, though, which is wild. Because, I mean, if you look at
Man,
Jordy Johnson, Offensive Player of the Year, we're looking at kind of touchdowns at this point. And so if we're looking at touchdowns, Jordy Johnson's only got one way to score. And he did get a rushing touchdown, though, this season. So he's got 13 total touchdowns if you include that. To his 31 to 4 interceptions,
man.
I can kind of see how he took that, which will be, it's tough for Jordy Johnson, but I'm sure he's going to
I
be
think
a
I
receiver
think
of the
Jordy
year.
Johnson had led it every week until this point.
Yeah, which is crazy. Wade has literally come out of nowhere and stole the show. It's crazy. Anthony
Man,
Savoy right there too. All right, for Defensive Player of the Year, Pioneers linebacker Jesse Newhouser right now leading in that category. As always, for the most part, been between him, Nolan Angelo. Yeah, these two. At one point, even the rookie Austin Sanders was there, and even Isaiah Ingram. Even though we haven't had a podcast in a minute, he's been in the mix. He's right behind Newhouser. I think this is going to come down to who gets the most sacks at the end of the
well,
day.
as of right now, Killian Bain at 5 and Isaiah Ingram have the most with 20.
Yeah. So I guess Newhouser's impact, because he's done a lot of other things than just sacks too. So maybe that's what's
I
catapulting
think
him up.
Newhouser has like 19 or something.
Yeah. All right. Offensive Rookie of the Year, man, Shanahan. You're gonna have to have the game of your life, bro. As this, we were kind of banking on this award, and too many interceptions have now dropped you to second place. You gotta have a breakout game against the Dillos, which I know that's gonna be tough. But if not, wide receiver Kentaro Sheffield, former Ohio State Buckeye, might just scoop it.
Yeah, that should be a quarterback award, but
Yeah,
like I said, he didn't put up the numbers that you normally see from a quarterback who played 17 games.
yeah. Definitely rough go right there. Ronnie Football, gotta have a game. Austin Sanders, defensive
He
rookie of
ran
the
away
year
with
right
that.
now. And yeah, Forbes saying he ran away with it. What's his sack differential away from Quincy Jenkins, and Miles Brock's
I don't
was the
know.
guy we thought was gonna get it too.
I know that Austin Sanders is one of those people who has like 18, 19 something.
Crazy beast.
You
Ohio.
would have thought it was that's Miles Brock, right? From the
Yeah, Miles
Dreadnoughts.
Brock. Yeah, early on
You
in
would
the
have thought it was Miles
season, we
Brock in the
thought for
first 5
sure.
weeks.
Facts. His progression was crazy. He was jumping in overalls. He was like, oh man, this guy's gonna be a legend. He still is, but yeah, crazy how
This is
these
just the
awards have
same
shift.
order as MVP.
Yeah, same order. The quarterbacks. Running back of the year, Kingston Kinney. Of course, he has the most rushing touchdowns with 14. Um, and leading in yards as well with over 1,500. The guy just seems to do this every year. But Matt Wheaton's still in the fold. We don't know what he's going to do. He's playing against backups this week. We'll see what happens. So it's definitely been these two all year. Who's going to get it? Best receiver, obviously Jordy Johnson. He's already was right there for Offensive Player of the Year, and right behind him is Ross Deardorff. Despite the good season he's having, I don't see how a week is going to make a difference, and he might not even play. So, yeah, Jordy
Yeah,
Johnson's
it's
got that.
Jordy.
Offensive lineman, not going to go into any details, but Damian Hickman, Bulldogs lineman, is leading for this award. Defensive lineman of the year is going to Isaiah Ingram right now. Changed conferences, and looks like he's going to win a award in each conference. This guy's just about done everything, but it's crazy. Austin Sanders, the rookie, is right there behind him. And best linebacker, Jesse Newhouser. Obviously, for his defensive player of the year too right now. Angelo's right behind him. Killian Bain, man. Shout out to Killian Bain. He's top 3 in this category
Great
for
second
best
year.
linebacker. Yeah, excellent second year, man. Defensive back, Keanu Jones. Despite the rough season, he still managed to be a beast out there in the secondary. And I think he leads the ARC in interceptions. And Frank Velton has had a good season, but I don't see him passing Keanu Jones unless he
Look
has
who's down there at
crazy
number
picks.
6.
Who's that number 6? Oh yeah, Antonio Gomez III. What a great year he's had. And finally, this is a guy who earned his spot, role, whatever you want to call it, and man, he did everything as far as pick sixes with touchdowns on that, kick return for a touchdown to win the game and upset the Black Knights. I mean, this dude had a remarkable season. It's definitely the future of the Pioneers, man. It's gonna be a great team to watch.
Him
And
and Xavier.
yeah, best kicker, Kerry McCoy. Obviously, I mean, Dillo's putting up points. I only think he's missed a kick though this year, so that dude's been on. NRC Offensive Player of the Year, DeAndre Cann, Marquise Washington right behind him. And yeah, DeAndre Cann has been a beast. He leads all receivers and receiving touchdowns with 13. And he could probably lead in receiving yards if they have a big game. And Jordy Johnson does not. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's definitely been him and Jordy Johnson in terms of league-wise, who's the best receiver. And yeah, he's Offensive Player of the Year right now. Defensive Player of the Year got Cole Bacon, old legend defensive end, still out here making plays, man. Your guy right here, Marvin Woolfolk, right at 2. These guys have been going back and forth at it, man. Kevin Kudon too.
We're gonna get it back this week. Don't worry.
Yeah, go get it. Yeah, got to sack up Daryl Johnson, man. It's gonna be a tough task, but doable stuff, especially with this old legend, man. Offensive Rookie of the Year, clear cut. We know he's winning it. Jordan Granger.
Yeah.
And it's just not even a chance. I mean, Tevin Corbett's had a great season. He's had over 5 touchdowns for the Gunners, but no way. Dorian Chavis, maybe if he played beginning of the year, nah, not even. Jordan Granger's been balling. I don't think he would have been able to match him. And then for Defensive Rookie of the Year, and it's definitely been between these two, but Elijah Walker has been running it the whole time. I mean, what a great season Brock Frederick has had, but it really comes down to the sacks, and Walker has played like a veteran defensive end, man. Killing it with the Snowhawks.
Yeah, that was pretty clear cut one.
Yeah, it's crazy to see 2 Shamrocks, though, right here. 2 great draft picks, rookies,
Yeah,
balling.
for sure.
And let's not forget about Jay Hayden. This guy's been a beast, too. Cornerback from Miami. A lot of good names. You got Rodney Goins in the mix. No, I said I wasn't going to go through, but a couple of these guys are interesting to talk about, man.
Number
Famous
40 back
Briggs.
there.
Yeah, number 40. 40 is crazy. Best quarterback, Marquise Washington right now, and he's over Joseph Gibbs and Granger. So he looked like he's going to walk away with that
I need
award.
to know.
Mhm.
I need to know the 6 quarterbacks who couldn't pass Kearney.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He hasn't
Yeah.
played since week 9, and he's still top 10.
And Eric Fisher. Eric Fisher actually had a pretty solid year, not going to lie. And bro, how about Jabri Jackson?
Still up there too.
Still up there, bro. I think he would have won the MVP this year, not going to lie. Like, he had
I don't know if he would
17
have won. I think he
touchdowns.
definitely would have won the all the NRC awards. I don't know if he would have won MVP.
I think so, bro. Because who do they have right now in MVP? Oh, yeah. Oh, I think he would have had more because he had 17 touchdowns in 6 weeks.
Yeah, so did Kearney. Kearney's touchdown interception 17-5.
Only thing I see though is like the way Jabri Jackson was doing it was like, bro was scrambling. He was doing everything though.
Yeah, but they also take record into account. Like they're not going to give the MVP to a team who went 4-12.
And I don't know if it's going to weigh that much if a dude has better numbers than somebody though.
Yeah, but is it going to be that significantly better to take it away from the 1 seed 12-5 Bulls?
I think the game and kind of even real life to an extent will go off of who had the most production as a whole. Like the game is going to register the touchdown. So if he had more touchdowns than anybody else, I think they would still give it to him despite the record. Because I mean that's still balling. You put up these numbers
Yeah.
on a trash team.
I think he might end up definitely like the top 5, but I still think it would have been Devin Wade or Savoy.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that's something we'll never figure out. But man, I would have liked to see where he would have been, man. Reed Wagner is even in there, so that's pretty good. Um, Running back of the year is Jacob McDonald, and it's always been between these two guys right here, Tavion Hall and Madison Axel.
Yeah, I think it's the first time in 4 seasons it's not Tavion Hall or Madison Axel.
Yeah, I know, right? These dudes been balling, man. It's good to see Jacob McDonald get there, man. We knew he's been a beast, but finally about to take that award. He's had a great season. And receiver, obviously, I wouldn't say as clear cut as Jordy Johnson, but Roland Wood's been balling too, man. But yeah, Can's got more of the touchdowns and accolades everywhere else. Roland Woods had a fantastic season. Romeo Jackson that third. O line, there goes one of you guys, Pone Bradley. What do you think
So
about
this
him?
is why I don't pay attention to this award. Bone Bradley hasn't played all season.
He hasn't played all season.
He's a backup.
How is this guy on here?
I don't know, but he hasn't played all year.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, he probably still got something broken on the offensive line area then. You sure he wasn't playing anywhere? Because
No,
usually they don't
he's
register.
my backup right tackle.
Wow. Yeah, they did him dirty. Oh, they did everyone else dirty. Best D line, Cole Bacon. He has the most sacks. Kevin Kudon, again, these guys been at it. Same thing as defensive player of the year is really. But your guys leading for linebacker of the year, Marvin Woolfolk.
Always has, always will.
Yeah, this guy's still winning awards. How's he? How old is he? 34. Crazy. Taylor Mays right behind him. Steamers. He's had a fantastic season. Morse right too. And how about Daniel Severio, man? What a season, boy. And you
He's been
still
doing
might
everything.
make the playoffs. This is crazy. Reed, yeah, there's some great linebackers on here. Best defensive back, there goes another Diablo. Sheldon Reinhardt leads the entire league in picks with 8. Dude definitely came on, as you talked about, what was it week 6 you said when he started? He had his first pick?
Yeah, when he got his first interception.
And dude's been rolling ever since. Shout out to Lito Loso, too. He's close, he's second. Cito Torres, 2 Marshall boys back to back. There was one game where Cito had 3 of them things, though. Which is crazy. Richard
Yeah.
Grooms, Crusaders. Shout out to him. Shout out to Michael King. Man, all these dudes is crazy to see users. Jay Hayden. He hasn't been active and stuff. Yeah, Darius Young, JT Casey. Even the guy you traded away, Mario Culver, is in this. He was balling with the Explorers for that short amount of time in the second half of the season. And Damari Sparks. And Joaquin Gonzalez. He's won the Kicker of the Year award before. About to win another one. And that is it for the awards, guys. That is also it for this podcast. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. It's been a long one, but of course you guys deserved it. Mainly with the 7-week hiatus we had to be on with the league podcast. I'm looking to try to keep this thing going, as I said. And we'll see what goes on. I can't seem to find my camera to turn me back on, but you guys can hear me. So, hey, man, Forbes, appreciate you being on, giving you insight and all that, man. And best of luck to everyone moving forward for the playoffs. And this is it. Final week coming up. I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace.